Dzień dobry wszystkim. Zaczynamy kolejny dzień. Zobaczymy, jak to dzisiaj pójdzie. Mam nadzieję, że uda się zrobić jakikolwiek progres. Bo tak szczerze mówiąc, to przez ostatnie streamy jakoś tak krążyliśmy w miejscu. Ale mam nadzieję, że będzie ok tym razem. No dobra. Kontynuujemy. Nie ma co czekać. Tak, dzisiaj pogadamy znowu o kryptydach. Zagadajmy może najpierw z tym typem, którego imienia nie pamiętam, Morel.
My wife can't wait to thank you. Go on, talk to her.
Dobra. To spoko. To przynajmniej już wiemy.
Sweetie, I don't even know how to thank you for finding my husband and helping him out. I hope we haven't been too much trouble for you.
Wykonuję tylko swoją pracę, proszę pani.
Here, I want to give you a small token of my gratitude. It's a tie, Mexican origin. The pin is an antique, quite special.
The little silvery knob holding the tie together feels warm in your hand. It's in the shape of an avian skull with 8 eyes.
Wow. Spoko. Nie mówiła pani, że widziała straszyka.
Oh, you don't want to hear about some old woman's ramblings.
Ależ oczywiście, że chcę.
Ramblings? Nonsense. Your description of the phasmid is the most precise I've ever heard.
Darling, I didn't even get the size of it right.
You were a child, my dear. Really. It's extraordinary what you were able to describe. Now go on. Tell our friend about it. He's proven his interest in the field.
That is a way bigger compliment than it sounds like.
Właściwie to nie powiedziałem mu o tej pułapce, że w niej nie było szarańcze.
Reflexively, the lieutenant read his familiar notebook.
Well, it was summer. I was building a racing track out of sand on the beach near a tall stand of reeds. Quite a tall one. Many times my height, I remember. When, all of a sudden,
Co się stało?
I looked up and one of the reeds moved. Not like a plant, but like a living thing. It stood up and looked at me. Its body unfolded like some antique toy. I'd never seen anything like it. The reeds turned into a creature.
She had no fear, just surprise.
I didn't know this can happen, so I reached my arm and touched the thing. It felt just like a stalk of reed, but it moved, swaying, towering above me. After a while, 20 seconds, a minute maybe, it left, went into the reeds.
Śledziła ją pani?
I tried, but I was only a child. There was mud and high water. I couldn't see it anymore. I was just standing there knee-deep in mud, looking around me.
Where did you go? Don't go.
Co było dalej?
I ran back home to my grandmother and asked her if reeds could walk, and told her they were looking at me. Of course, she just laughed at me, but I knew what I'd seen. For years, it was a story I told at parties when I wanted to impress boys, that sort of thing. Of course, most people just took it as a strange, amusing anecdote. So did I, honestly. But then I met Morel.
We were on a date. Can you imagine? She tells me a story, and it's the most detailed report of the Insulindian phasmid I've ever heard. The sounds. She told me it hissed.
So that's how they met. This is beyond significant for them.
It did, yes. Like reeds in a gust of wind.
The way it moved, the colour, how some of its limbs were white, like marble. It matched perfectly with what I know from other accounts. It was amazing. If it weren't for Lena, I might have given up hope years ago. It's no exaggeration to say that she restored my faith in my profession.
Jak wylądowali na randce? Byliście na randce?
Our first, yes.
Mhm. Super, tyle się dowiedziałem. Ten stwór ma białe odnóża.
Not all of them. There is some white coloration reported, along with beige, where the camouflage ends.
Jak duże było to stworzenie?
It's hard to say how big things are when you're quite small yourself.
A to
To
prawda
me, it
akurat.
seemed to be taller than I was then, but that's probably not the case.
Kim, co o tym sądzisz?
I thought it was a wonderful story, ma'am.
But I don't believe it. A child left unattended on a warm day. Children make up stories and then end up believing them.
Może to był tylko wytwór twojej wyobraźni, Leno?
How could she? Who imagines this? She didn't know about the phasmid. This is the main thing here. What makes it a confirmed sighting? She had no previous knowledge of the insect.
That's true, yes. I'm almost certain neither my mother nor my grandmother knew of it. It was only when I started telling my story as a teenager that boys would tell me, Lena.
Kurde, to akurat argument, który ma sens. To, że nie wiedziała wcześniej o czymś takim, że jest legendą, sprawia, że nie mogła sobie tego tylko wymyślić historii. Tylko musiała zobaczyć coś przynajmniej bardzo podobnego. I na podstawie tego stworzyć historię jak coś. Co znaczy, że coś widziała. Creepy shit.
You trying to tell us you saw the Insulindian phasmid out there in those reeds? Get out of here. They just give me a cider and ruffle my hair and tell me to stop dreaming. But I saw it.
Dziękuję za tą opowieść.
You're welcome, sweetie. I do appreciate the chance to relive it whenever I get one. It was just such an impossibly sunshiny day. So warm.
And she could get up and walk right into the reeds on her own, into the mud, anywhere.
Bardzo chciałbym dowiedzieć się więcej o kryptydach.
You know, to hell with it. Let's have more cryptids.
Kim? Nie poznają cię.
Of course, officers. Is there a particular cryptid you two are interested in learning about?
Ten ptak też jest jakąś kryptydą?
No. It's the cryptid.
O raju, król, kryptyd?
Oh, yes.
No dobrze, to co to za ptak?
The eight-eyed teratorn, the largest flying avian ever discovered, with a wingspan of 11.5 meters. It was thought to have gone extinct 3,500 years ago. Some even doubted the fossils were real. A mutation, they said. Until...
Mutation? All of evolution is a mutation.
Dopóki?
Until it was cited by renowned Gottwaldian explorer and naturalist Uwe Plattenkalk in 21.
Muszę się dowiedzieć, kiedy go widziano.
It happened on a botanical expedition into the vast and unexplored Oamrau Canyon in southeast Ilmara. Dr. Plattenkalk got separated from his group during a sandstorm.
No dobrze, a Uamrao to?
The world's largest canyon system, sweetie. It's a barren waste east of the Erg Desert, an ancient riverbed completely dried up.
Co się stało?
Alone in the blasted desert heat, the doctor wandered eastward, where man hasn't stepped foot in over 1,000 years, since the fall of Pericarnassus. He was lost, without any navigation equipment and desperately low on water. After a day or two, he noticed a bird high in the noon sky. A great blackbird, it seemed gargantuan. Every now and then, the bird would dive down to feed on an animal carcass somewhere on the horizon. But by the time Uwe got there, the teratorn had taken off already, and the carcass was picked clean. This happened many times.
Eat the bird. Uva. It's the only way to survive.
Śledził ptaka? Czy ptak go śledził? Rozumiem, ów zaczął na niego polować.
Yes, a bird that big has a lot of blood in it, and he was dying of thirst. For many days, Dr. Platzenkalk followed the Tetatorn until they reached a great canyon wall where the bird finally landed to rest. The professor climbed up there with a rock in his hand. He found the bird sleeping with his head tucked under its wing, a great black pile of feathers on the perch. So he approached, slowly squeezing the rock in his fist. Then the Tetatorn suddenly looked at him. He could see it had 8 eyes, 4 on either side of its skull, like a spider. And the man couldn't move. He was paralyzed, frozen into place with the rock in his hand. Whatever he did, he could not get closer to the bird.
Dobra, akurat wizja latającego ptakopająka mnie przeraża.
The bird was controlling his mind. It kept him from approaching. He could step back, but every time he stepped forward, paralysis. Uva spent 3 days trying until the bird flew away.
Śmiałki kontrolujący umysł ptak? Zajebiście.
Absolutely, sweetie. Cryptozoologists have been tracing it ever since, but Wamrao is vast, mysterious, and holds many secrets.
Modern radar telemetry shows great promise. We will confirm this one by the end of the decade, latest.
This one I liked. Not only does it have 8 eyes and is a living fossil and the largest bird ever to live, it also does mind control.
I wtedy ostatni raz go widziano?
Sadly, yes, but there are numerous reports of 8-eyed bird skulls from Il Mara. And then there's the striking resemblance to the Pericarnassian imperial eagle, an ancient heraldic symbol that is hard to pass off as coincidence. The imperial eagle, too, had 8 eyes.
Very, very hard.
W sumie bardzo dużo mitycznych zwierząt to po prostu wymarłe gatunki. Podobno cała legenda o smokach wzięła się z tego, że znajdowano szczątki dinozaurów i dopowiadano sobie historię.
This one's very famous. Everyone knows it. People will be looking at that tie on you and thinking, that man is into cryptids. So, what else do you want to know?
Jaka jest najmniejsza kryptyda?
Cryobacter catlensis.
Cryobacter catlensis?
Yes, a unicellular bacterium that was discovered in one of the northernmost points of Kotla on the Boreal Plateau by renowned geologist Caitlin Mijanou some 70 years ago.
Co jest w niej takiego wyjątkowego?
The bacterial colony Mijanou found had remained alive while frozen in ice for longer than anyone could reliably estimate. Certainly from before recorded history. Mijanou disappeared shortly after injecting herself with the bacteria she had brought back to study, no doubt in hopes of prolonging her own life.
Aha, zaraz, ona ją sobie wstrzyknęła?
Yes, the bacteria had survived in the ice since times immemorial. It is not hard to see where she could have gotten the idea.
Chyba oglądam ten film.
It's actually a little hard to see, but do go on.
Czyli, że gdzieś na świecie żyje nieśmiertelna geolożka?
Yes, and she's quite mad, too. After she treated herself with the bacteria, she stopped aging, but also became increasingly eccentric and irascible, so that even her oldest friends were forced to pull away. We can assume that she has been living somewhere in the wilderness for decades now, all alone except for the Cryobacter catlensis coursing through her bloodstream.
Dobra, a czy istnieją jakieś niewidzialne kryptydy?
What an interesting question. And the answer is yes, there are.
Of course. All fairy tales have someone or something invisible in them.
Cicho, Kim, chcę posłuchać o niewidzialnej kryptydzie. Czym ona jest?
It's the Col de Mama d'Aqua.
Jak?
Its name means thin whisper of sound, and that's precisely what it is. Self-replicating sound waves, invisible and intangible. The Col de Mama is very afraid of us, which makes it incredibly difficult to track.
I jak ona brzmi?
Like nothing, it's such a high-pitched sound that us humans can't hear it, nor can other animals. It could be ringing right outside your window and you wouldn't even know it. Could be anywhere. Everywhere, even.
Fine, I'll bite. How can an animal be a sound?
Many scientists have asked the same question. Some have claimed that it isn't itself a sound, but a tiny corpuscle that emits sound waves. But there's no evidence to support this theory.
A może być tutaj, teraz?
It could be. As I said, it could be everywhere. And we wouldn't know any better. It could be ringing all the days of our lives and nights.
Maybe it's predatory.
A jeśli ta istota jest drapieżnikiem?
It's not. Don't worry. If it were predatory, we would have found it by the damage it inflicts.
I wouldn't be so sure. What if the damage is also invisible?
Jakie istnieją dowody, że to zwierzę jest dźwiękiem?
Plenty. It's the evidence that led to its discovery. In the 20s, a group of Areopagite ornithologists, that is, scientists who study birds, were trying out a new recording technology for capturing sounds outside the range of human hearing. When playing back recordings they had made in the foothills of the Ea mountain range, they noticed certain anomalies, patterns that seemed random at first, but on closer examination were consistent with the waveforms of songbirds.
Po prostu kiwnij z zapałem głową?
The scientists soon discovered they could track and even predict what appeared to be feeding, mating, and migration patterns based on sound waves in a strictly delimited range of ultrasonic frequencies, even higher than those of the highest pitched bat calls.
She transforms, when speaking about these strange animals, into a confident woman.
They realized that they had discovered a new species and called it the Col de Mama d'Aqua, after the Paracanassian name for the voice of God, which is said to be very silent.
Proszę mówić dalej. Nie, o raju.
They grew quite obsessed with these little birds. Even though they couldn't see them, they could distinguish among individual birds and even began to name some of them.
Dawać imiona?
Sequester, Time, Joscan. Those are but some of the Mama d'Aqua they followed individually.
Czemu mama Dakła tak się nas boi?
That is a sad story. A group of university students assisting with the field work in their enthusiasm for the project, and no doubt because they were preoccupied with impressing their professors, nearly drove it to extinction.
Wyginięcia?
They tried to communicate with it and had no other means but sound. So they started sending out sound waves at frequencies they thought might match the Mama d'Aqua's. And what happens when a sound wave meets another sound wave of the same frequency, dear?
Wygłuszają się nawzajem.
This lady really should be a teacher. She's really good at the explaining things thing. You have no clue because you're not a dweeb.
Wygaszają się nawzajem.
Exactly. And these tests were performed so recklessly that when they happened upon the right frequency, well, they wiped out most of the population.
Great regret washes over her. A wending cloth.
After that, the corpuscle appears to have migrated elsewhere. There have been recordings of anomalies similar to those spotted in Ea, but they've been few and far between. It's impossible to confirm the presence of any stable Koltama Madakwa population anywhere.
Of course, a common thread in these. Disappearance and unfalsifiability. I like the story, though, ma'am.
I'm glad you did, dear.
Ciekawe, a co z...
What about what?
Dobra, wszystkie przeklikałem. Wiele się nauczyłem, ale musimy niestety porozmawiać o czymś innym.
Of course, dear.
Na tę chwilę to wszystko. Załóżmy krawat. Gdzie jest mój krawat? Krawat ośmiokiego Terratorna. Ależ wyglądamy. Brakuje mi tego kapelusza. Naprawdę brakuje mi kapelusza. Bierzmy się tak. Jeszcze tylko koszulę może wymienię. Albo oksy bym wymienił. Matematyka wzrokowa, dramaturgia. Soczewki korekcyjne niekoniecznie. Oj nie, to są paskudne. Zdjąłem niechcący buty. Przydałoby się jakieś sortowanie w sumie. Gdzie są drugie buty? Buty z wężowej skóry, tak. Nie no, fajowe okulary biurowe zostają. Jeszcze pogadajmy z panem Morelem.
Ha! Nothing like the gratitude of a good woman. Now then, what can I do for you?
He tries to play it cool, remain professorial. But inside, this man is itching for some news on those traps.
Zajrzałem do wszystkich pułapek.
Good. Okay. And?
I jedna z nich była pusta.
Completely empty?
Surprise, tempered with fear and trepidation. He doesn't know what to think yet. Maybe you're joking?
Tak, w pułapce nie było nic, ani szarańcza, ani straszyka.
No locusts? No phasmid either?
That's not ideal, but...
Pusta była ta pułapka, którą rozstawiliście w miejscu obozu. Może to ma jakieś znaczenie?
I definitely left that one stocked.
Right from the campsite? Just means the Insulindian phasmid is even more clever than we thought.
Of course, more clever.
You're dealing with a subject near and dear to their hearts. It might behove you to tread lightly.
Yes, the Phantasmadeia picked off the locusts and escaped. This is good news, though we'll have to reconsider the design of the traps, make them more secure.
Another trip to the reeds.
Tak, dokładnie to się wydarzyło. Co za sprawny myśliwy z tego straszyka.
Of course. Be sarcastic. Unless you have an alternative
To było
hypothesis
ironiczne?
you'd like to venture. Mine stands, okay? Actually, no. Excuse me for getting emotional. This is a big deal for us. You've helped us twice now, and brought some great news too. My gratitude, and the gratitude of the Société Cryptozoologique de Ravachol, is yours.
Heartfelt gratitude. But does it feel like closure? What really happened?
Thank you, it's an honor. We should probably return to our main investigation here. This has been refreshing, but
Helping cryptozoologists isn't really a priority for our organization, is it? The lieutenant looks out the window, impatiently.
Dobra, 72%. Opracuj alternatywną hipotezę co do zaginionej szarańczy.
Consider the way the empty trap was disturbed, as though shaken. Most likely the hands of a young person. Hands small enough to fit inside the trap, too. You should ask the red-headed boy, Kuno.
Mam szczucie, że szarańczę mógł wykraść mały chuligan imieniem Kuno.
A little hooligan. But what would a child want with bags?
Oh, my dear Morel, you've been an old man for too long. Kids love to torment insects almost as much as they love to torment old folks.
Pogadam z tym małym gremlinem i spróbuję się czegoś dowiedzieć.
delinquents, my favorite.
Oh, you've been such a dear to us. Please let us know whatever you turn up. I have a feeling we're getting so close.
Well, I see you've got all the help you need. I'll see you tonight at my place. Let's play suzerainty, but no more field trips for me.
He hasn't been particularly forthcoming before. He may well still be hiding something. After he's left, it's too late.
Really, Gary? We're getting somewhere here. I'd love to play suzerainty, but
Lena, I'm sorry, but you're not getting anywhere. It was some kids. I know the little mutants around here. Leave anything out in the open and they'll steal it, even if it's bugs. Morel, it's been fun, really, but I need a bath and I have deliveries to handle. When this tea is done, I gotta run.
No need to apologize, Geary. You'd be more than helpful. We'll have to take a rain check on that game of suzerainty today, though. We're gonna follow this through.
Dobra, pójdę już. Jeszcze zagadajmy z Garym.
I really owe you one for getting us out of those reeds, officer. Finally got all that soot out of my hair. Name's Gary. Yellow man. I mean, officer.
Jebany rasista.
The lieutenant raises his eyebrows slightly and takes out his notebook. Yellow man? Feels significant somehow, him saying that. You should ask him about it later.
Nie jest pan fanem dzikiej przyrody?
I like nature, just not this bloody coast. It's mostly drunks and degenerates that come here.
To smutne, ale ja chyba właśnie jestem pijakiem albo degeneratem, a może nawet jednym i drugim.
Dark times will do that to good men.
Wie pan, co się mężczyźnie powieszą na podwórzach na tyłach Whirling in Rags?
Oh, so that's what the RCM in Martinez is about. Great. Great to hear someone's finally taking care of that.
So you do know something about it?
No. Nothing. He was some kind of mercenary. But everyone here knows that. I'm just glad to hear you're looking into it. That's all.
He's not feeling very comfy in his clothes, is he? Strange.
To pański kubek?
My mug? Why would you think that?
Wygląda pan jak ktoś, kto może mieć całą kolekcję takich kubków, stojącą w jego domu kolekcję kubków kolonialnych.
How do you mean?
He's trying not to look afraid, because that would be incriminating. Yet he is.
Zachowuje się pan dość podejrzanie. Czy wspomniałem, że kubek ten został znaleziony w miejscu, w którym doszło do linczu?
Okay, I admit it. I threw the mug away in the trash container behind the hostel. I know I shouldn't have, and I am very sorry. You're not going to find me, are you?
Nie zamierzam, po prostu potrzebuję informacji.
Whew. Thank you. You won't regret this. I won't use another man's property to dump my garbage ever again. I don't know what got into me, really. Work has been stressful lately. Damn Koiko's price dumping us out of competition.
What did you do, Gary?
Nothing. Nothing. Just answering some questions. Helping out the law.
Here we go. Start pumping that sweet info.
Jak zdołał pan otworzyć pojemnik na śmieci?
I know a guy who works with the trash collection services. CS Municipal. He gave me a master key for the trash containers of Martinez.
Po co miałby pan chcieć dostać się do śmieci okolicznych mieszkańców?
So I can use the Whirling's trash compactor to store my own stuff. Garbage disposal is expensive as hell. The damn Hemians run it like a mob. I'm sorry, okay? I thought I could cut costs. I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have disgraced myself.
Disgraced? No need for the histrionic, sir. It was, after all, just a trash container.
He studies his reaction. Gary doesn't answer.
Czy zostawił pan ubranie ofiary morderstwa, człowieka, którego powieszono na tyłach Whirling in Rags w tym pojemniku na śmieci?
Officer, please. Let me explain. It's not like that.
Proszę wyjaśnić.
I was only cleaning up. I live right across the yard from where he was hanged, and I saw him stripped naked. All the clothes lying around in the yard, smelling. People are animals, you know?
Tak, co się stało?
Then I came out to clean up the rags because no one else would. I put them into the Whirling's trash, along with a broken mug, admittedly. Okay. I was coming to throw the mug away, and, well, I threw the mug there and the clothes too.
Right. It was just civic duty.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was. Civic duty.
As he shifts uncomfortably, a series of clicks, like the clinking of glass beads against one another as they roll across a hardwood floor. You've heard this sound before. But where?
Ma na sobie pancerz. Co to za dziwny odgłos?
What sound?
Proszę mnie nie wystawiać na próbę. Myślę, że wie pan, o czym mówię.
I haven't the slightest. There's lots of weird sounds in a bar like this, though. Pinball, glasses clinking. Could be someone playing pinball.
Nie wie pan przypadkiem nic o zaginionym pancerzu ofiary?
Armor? No. I mean, yes. Of course. I know he was wearing armor.
Chyba na
but
hiena
I don't know
cmentarna.
anything about it.
There's something going on here. You should observe him more closely after this topic is concluded.
Przejdźmy dalej, przynajmniej na razie.
I hope I could help your investigation. In my small way.
Don't be so relieved yet, Gary. This bad cop may have been in your apartment, admiring your mug collection. Perhaps a little intimidation?
Pan też jest kryptozoologiem?
No. I help Morel with research sometimes, and I've learned some things along the way. But I don't usually go in for picnics like this on my own.
Był pan zaskoczony widokiem mojego kolegi, porucznika Kitsuragiego.
Not many Sealites here, or anywhere, other than Sale. I meant no offense, truly.
Dobra, mi się okno uchylić.
Do you remember how, when we met Measurehead and I said the next races will be a really good one?
Tak.
Well, this is that racist.
No nie wiem, poprzedni rasiści bardziej mi się podobali.
Hey, man, all I meant was there are not many Sealites around here. I'm just stating a fact.
Porucznik pochodzi z Rewaszolu.
Oh, yes. Of course he is. I was just speaking about his connections. Let's change the subject, okay?
No więc mieszka pan nieopodal, pani Gary, w lokalu Martinez.
Sure do, officer.
His eyes narrow slightly He's wondering where this is going.
Jest pan wielkim fanem człowieka z Helmdalu.
How?
Widziałem ten żałosny plakat w pana mieszkaniu i wszystkie inne pańskie kolonialne bibeloty.
But why were you in my apartment, officer?
Pan Everard Clare poprosił mnie o otworzenie pańskich drzwi. Uznam, że przy okazji nieco się rozejrzał.
So you work for Everard Clare? Officer, please tell him we're good. No, tell him I'll make it up to him. What have I done? He'll send the muscle after me.
As he lowers his tone, he hunches his back.
Przypadkiem się pan nie zesraj, Gary. To tylko otwarte drzwi.
What could it be about? I probably talked too loud. In the whirling. About some theories I had. Whatever it is, I'm done with it. I won't do it again. If there's anything I can do to assist you, or the Union, just ask, okay? I'll try to help if I can.
This scared him proper. He's positively melting from fear. Has to prop himself up with a lot of anger to keep it together.
The weather vane has turned. He cannot be unturned.
He clearly liked his squirming. He may even have changed his mind about the whole door opening operation.
Dobra, czemu on się tak wierci? Przeanalizuj stan psychiczny Garego. 72%. Próbujemy?
That shirt
Yay.
looks very uncomfortable on him. Look at the buttons, barely keeping that thing together, as if something is ready to rip out from underneath.
Coś, co nosi pod spodem.
Yes, like a piece of ceramic armor, for example. One that makes a clicking sound when the plates meet each other, resembling pearls or marbles, stolen from the corpse in the yard near where he lives.
Widzę, że jest pan koneserem wysokiej klasy sprzętu bojowego.
I knew you'd figure it out, officer. I'm sorry I didn't tell you at once. I was ashamed of what I did. And I didn't want you to know.
This shame is surprisingly sincere.
Gary, what's going on?
I took the hangman's cuirass. I didn't mean to.
God damn it, Gary.
No właśnie, cholera jasna, Gary. Co ty sobie myślałeś?
I know.
Shame on you. Give the cuirass to the officer at once. Gary didn't mean to interfere with your investigation officers. He's just thick-headed and poor as dirt. But he's always helped us, given us a place to stay. And he's followed Morel into God knows what jungles.
He's a loyal friend.
Czemu tak naprawdę wyrzucił pan te ubranie do śmieci?
Everyone was picking those pieces off him, and I was watching them do it. And they'd scattered his clothes all over the yard. Everything was smelling. So I went there to take out the trash and started cleaning up. All those rags on the ground, him swinging up there, and I had a lapse of honor, sir. I thought, he's a foreigner. They all say he wasn't from here. Only the cuirass was left, so I stripped it off him. It was early in the morning. No one saw me. I took it with me. It was a mistake. Had I known it'd give you guys trouble, I wouldn't have... Fuck.
It's okay. It was a loose end, and you are tying it up now.
I'm so fucking sorry I called you Yellow Man. Sealite officers commanded the suzerain's navy. Most of them sided with the king when...
It's difficult to say what the lieutenant thinks of this historic apology. His face does not belie emotions.
Czemu mnie pan okłamał, Gary?
Because I was weak. I should have told you the moment I saw you. But
Ale...
He's a scaredy cat.
Proszę dać mi ten pancerz natychmiast.
He sighs again, hangs his head, and unbuttons his shirt fully. A cuirass that matches the dead man's boots comes into view. Soon it is in your hands, smelling of his sweat. This is it. This will protect your mortal shell.
Szkoda, że nie mam butów do
Don it
kompletu.
and live.
Wie pan, kto zabił wisielca?
I always thought it was the Union, but I sure as hell won't go around saying that anymore. You have my word.
Czy to już
I
wszystko,
don't
Gary?
know, and I won't be running my mouth on this subject anymore. Yes, absolutely. I will never do anything like this again. I won't mess with Mr. Clare either. You have my word.
Dziękuję za współpracę. No, to wiadomo, przynajmniej jedno się rozwiązało. Tracę empatię. To jest pod koszulę, tak? Próg ból, siła woli. Mamy zajebiście silną wolę. Szkoda, że nie mam butów do kompletu, naprawdę. Dobra, chodźmy dalej. Chodźmy do Klasję. Nie pamiętam, o czym miałem z nią porozmawiać. Muszę też porozmawiać z tą przewoźniczką z ciężarówki. Tak, Klasję miałem zapytać o to, dlaczego nie ma jej paszportu. Bo ona coś kombinuje. Hello, Klasję. Siema, Krzysiu.
I was just thinking, what a nice day for questions pertaining to a murder investigation.
Czemu mam poczucie, że pani tu wygrała?
I really don't know, sir. I certainly don't feel like I've won. I feel like shit, sir. All the time.
Znam to uczucie.
She smiles, a bitter little smile. She means it.
Ale skończyło się to dla pani dobrze. Wymknęło się pani wszelkim podejrzeniom.
Clearly, I haven't. We're having this conversation, aren't we? How well could it have gone? I mean,
The wet wind, heavy with brine and industrial pollution from the stacks nearby, ruffles her hair.
Aha.
I'm stuck in Martinez just like all of us. I've been up here for I don't know how long
No
now.
właśnie, jak długo?
I like to call this my rooftop containment facility.
Teraz pytanie. Te suszone kwiaty na dachu, czy mogła zostawić je Ruby? Nie pasują do niczego.
The what? Oh, those ones. I don't know, sir. I said I have no idea what to make of them. Honestly, I think they're just trash. I mean, there's no reason for me to think they're somehow connected to her.
Może to nie Ruby. Coś wydaje się być nie tak z hipotezą, którą opracowałem co do Ruby.
I don't know what to say.
Wszystko to wydaje się niezwykle korzystne dla pani.
None of this is fortuitous for me.
Ułożyło się to dla pani zaskakująco dobrze. Zdołała pani jakoś nie zostać podejrzaną.
Did I? Why do I still feel suspicion hanging over me then? What I managed was to get him killed. I'm the love that does people in, remember?
No właśnie, ale cały czas myślę, że chodziło bardziej o miłość Ruby, która zabiła tego typa z zazdrości.
The lieutenant looks away, over the railing. He feels uncomfortable with this conversation. He doesn't know what to add.
I czemu jest pani w zamknięciu?
For my sins, of course. The long-standing sins of a bad, frivolous person. For destroying my first love. For working for bad people. The list goes on and on.
To chyba na tyle.
She nods, slowly, carefully even. There is suddenly a strange glint in her eyes. Not malicious, but dangerous.
Znalazłem pani boję, była pusta, nie licząc wody morskiej.
Oh,
O,
Did you take the documents?
no, of course not. As I said, it would have been too risky for me to use those documents anyway. My employer gave them to me. In truth, I should have destroyed them.
być może zabrali je ludzie, którzy panią ścigają.
They couldn't know where I put it. I'm absolutely sure I was not followed. And I've told no one but you. You mentioned seawater? I was worried I'd been too careless with the latch. The documents were probably just washed away.
The words, washed away, sound distant and strange suddenly. Somewhere far away, a dog barks.
Wróćmy do tych kłamstw, które pani wygłosiła.
Lies.
Yes, we demand she be punished for deceiving us. We demand her anxiety. We demand her fear.
A gdybym powiedział już... Wróćmy. Gdybym powiedział, że jest pani aresztowana, Ktarzin Alasie,
But I haven't done anything. Anything illegal.
Fucking mind games. Enough. That's right, gang. Stern and merciless now. Stern and merciless as we reel her in.
nie będziemy więcej grać w pani gierki psychologiczne. Zabieramy panią.
The lieutenant produces a pair of handcuffs.
Please, no.
Fragile, unshielded. Her voice is thin and tired.
I think I know who did it. Who shot Lely. I can tell you. I can help you.
Trudny wybór, naprawdę trudny. Czy on znowu będzie kłamać? Co pani wie, kto go zastrzelił?
She's silent for a second, as if looking into herself for certainty. Then, in a hushed voice, she says, gearing up for this betrayal is hard for her.
Ruby.
Czemu myśli pani, że to ona?
She has this thing for me ever since I met her and the boys downstairs. She's been pretty frank about what she wants.
What she's saying is sex.
Seksu?
And more. I made the mistake of confiding in her. I told her I was on the run. She started protecting me. It became an unhealthy relationship. When I started spending time with Lely, she told me to end it. Said there would be shit if I didn't. It was not a good meeting. We stopped talking after that, but...
I don't understand. What exactly in your relationship made you think she is romantically interested in you?
She said she's in love with me. She even asked me to run away with her when I told her I'm a fugitive. She started developing notions about our relationship.
And you led her on?
A little. I was flattered, you know? But then I had to let her off, and it was not easy. I came to regret being friendly with her. We maybe kissed, nothing more.
Czyli jednak zazdrość.
Yes, but what was their relationship outside this unequal power dynamic?
Jakie były stosunki między wami, nim doszło do tego konfliktu?
We spent a lot of time together, listening to the radio and such. She had great milieus, and she was good company. I was sorry it had to end.
What was that question about? She's feeding her friend to the wolves here. It also has startlingly little to do with arresting her, you suddenly realize.
W sumie fakt. Brzmi to, jakby była na pani zafiksowana.
This is just an assumption.
I know what it sounds like. That's why I didn't want to tell you before. But she knew what had happened when I came downstairs.
Nie wiem, myślałem wcześniej, że to Ruby, ale teraz zaczynam się zastanawiać, czy to nie jest na odwrót, że Classy zrzuca winę na Ruby, bo jest łatwym celem i miała motyw, ale z drugiej strony...
Somehow, she knew Lely was dead. She wasn't surprised at all. When we came up here, she was calm as a stone, too. She cleaned it all up like she had a plan.
Kiedy Ruby powiedziała, że wszystko się uspierdoli, jeśli nie zakończy pani związku z Denatem, czy to była groźba?
She came over one night, drunk, said she'd turn my life into a living hell. I've been threatened before, so I can tell when someone knows how to do it. And she's a pro. She must be. To keep the Hardys in line. I tried severing ties with her after that. I thought it had worked, but...
Some of that fear is still with her. She exhales sharply. What are you talking about? She's afraid you'll arrest her.
I jak miałoby ona go zabić?
You've been through there, right? I saw you come out. It leads downstairs.
A skąd ty to kurwa wiesz? Skoro było zamknięte.
She could have come to the roof through that, then made the shot right here, where I stand. It was dark outside. I wouldn't have seen her.
Interesting theory. Did she know that door exists? Had you been out there with her?
Yes, of course. She's been up here many times, jacking private stations off the ring antenna. She used to come here to drink on the roof with me, before it got weird.
Dobrze, to tyle jeśli chodzi o Ruby.
Okay, and what? Arrest the liar now. Why? She told us some pretty interesting things there.
Wszystko pięknie, ale myślę, że jednak powinniśmy panią zatrzymać na wszelki wypadek.
Still? After all this, sir, please. It's a shitty world, and I know I'm shitty too. I know. But I don't deserve to be sent to the moral intern and ground into paste just because I disturbed the sanctity of accounting. That's some multinational.
She's gearing up for a last stand. This is it.
Jakie mam inne rozwiązanie?
You have those station calls, right? Where I have to show up at the station or I'll become a fugitive. You can write me one. You don't have to take me in right now. I promise I won't go out anymore at night. I'll be right here. I know you can do that. Just let me come in on my own. In 2 months, or maybe even 1 month. That's all I need.
You do have the form.
That's it. I'm calling it. Kim is beyond compromised. Definitely, sire.
Co się zmieni przez te 2 miesiące czy miesiąc?
Everything could change. This city, the extradition rules, the people after me could be in jail. Or maybe Revachol.
There is desperation there in that silence. A cornered animal looking for a way out.
Maybe Revachol could be free. I could be tried in a free Revachol. An independent state that doesn't hand its detainees over to the moral intern.
Ma być rewolucja?
A free Revachol. There is a low, distant rumble on the motor tracks. A great machine shaking the pillars down south. Electricity runs up your spine.
I find that hard to believe, miss.
Mnie również trudno w to uwierzyć.
Don't. The world can change. It has changed before.
That's not the answer she was hoping for. Thought that you were some kind of patriot or communard, did she? This was her last card. There is nothing more she can say. The final decision is yours. You alone stand on the throne of your mind.
Dokonałem wyboru.
She looks at you in silence, her face filled with fear, lips parted.
Ach chuj, Kim, aresztuj ją, zanim stracimy tu jeszcze więcej czasu.
I will escort you to the motor carriage outside, miss.
With a muffled whimper, she extends her wrists. They're white, bony, exposed below the rolled-up sleeves of her jumpsuit. Waiting for your teeth and talons to cut into.
This won't be necessary. I will take you to Station 57 myself and slow the extradition process as much as I can. It may be possible to stall it indefinitely, but you will be safer there for the purposes of this investigation. I can do this on my own. She's not an immediate flight risk. See you tomorrow morning, officer. Downstairs, at the Whirling in Rags. Or outside your shack.
Dobra, takiego rozwoju sytuacji się nie spodziewałem w sumie. Ale to nic. Jest za wcześnie, żeby się położyć. . Ile ja mam punktów tak w ogóle? 4. Mogę jakąś myśl rozwinąć. Myślałem, że będzie jakaś myśl związana z, nie wiem, kryptydami. Królestwo sumienia. Biała żałoba. Generator datu urodzenia. Wszystko ciekawe. Prawo miewane półgębkiem, może nie. Manewr z Jamrock. Królestwo sumienia jest bardzo demokratyczne. 15 indoszczep. Sprawdźmy to. Z tego co pamiętam, to było ciekawe, kiedy mi się pojawiało. Powinienem też pójść do tej babki przy samochodzie.
Was that? Could it be the Mama Dakwa? No, it's probably just your imagination.
Teraz będę miał myśli o kryptydach, tak? Posłuchaj uważniej.
There seems to be an extremely high-pitched ring. Ultrasonic. Lena said it was very high-pitched, right? It's like something tickles your ear. Honestly, your ear isn't hearing a whole lot. The distant hum of the industrial harbor, the traffic. But, admittedly, there is a high-pitched noise somewhere there too. But then, isn't there always?
Posłuchaj najpierw uważnie.
There it is again. You're about to rediscover a long-lost species.
Słuchaj dalej.
It must be very close. Maybe, just maybe, it will come toward you. Keep still. It might perch on your shoulder. What are you doing? You're a police officer, not a pansy ornithologist. The only birds you should be looking for are healthy women of childbearing age.
Stój zupełnie nieruchomy i miej nadzieję, że ptak przyleci usiąść ci na ramieniu.
Oh no. The sound. It's moving away. Somewhere over there. Go after it. No. Too late. It's gone. There is no ringing anymore. Just the sound of the streets.
Nie, proszę, wróć tu.
Keep your ears peeled, then. If the species really has migrated to Martinez, you're sure to hear it again.
Dobra, czyli jednak zmiana. Zmieniam 15 indoszczep na Mama Dakwa. Tak jest, brzmi to ciekawie. Ile to się będzie internalizować? 7 godzin, o panie. Śledztwo skończył do tego czasu. No przynajmniej jakiś wątek. Dobra, muszę pogadać z tą. Ale to za chwilę, dosłownie 2 minuty przerwy. Dobra, lecimy dalej.
Lowman, you caught me at an opportune moment. This awful weather keeps me awake. You can entertain me with your questions.
Chyba wiem, co się z tobą dzieje.
And what is that?
Jesteś szarotoprzewoźniczką. Przewozisz towar przez szarotę.
Oh meu Deus. The lawman solved the case. And here I was, thinking you were an idiot. So, are you? An idiot, I mean?
Straciłem przytomność, bo miałem złamane serce i straciłem wszelką pamięć o świecie.
Like Gabriel Buenguerro in Segúreme, Paraíso. You're the opposite of me, then. I remember everything, even the things I never knew.
To, czegoś nigdy nie znała.
The smell of liquor on Gabriel's lips after the shoot. In the motor park. The roses on the day of Franco Negro's coronation. On the grand stairs of Ryle. The smoke from the Fowling piece when Dolores Day was shot. The look on her face, like an orgasm. The wound in her chest. My hand in my father's hand. Except I never had a father. And I never shot her innocent Dolores Day.
Nadmiar promieniowania.
Heroic doses, Harvey. Heroic.
Czy to nie niebezpieczne?
Thought insertion? Dithering? The Grad Catalan Magistral? It's more than dangerous. It's sad. But at first I had to make a living. Now, when you've seen it all go away like that, rolling off like the sea, and then come back to this, what are we doing here? For thousands of years, Gabriel. It doesn't have to be like this. We can just give up. We can just become a vapor.
Jak ona wygląda, ta cała szarota?
Like looking into the ocean at night. In
I?
the dark. You cannot see it, but you know it's there. And it's big, bigger than anything. Bigger than all the other things combined.
Jakie to uczucie?
Nothing. Until it starts. When you are deep enough. Then, for me, it's like autumn. Dark, gray, and orange. The orange of street lights and the color of streets in the electric light. It smells like autumn too. It smells terrible.
Nostalgia. Cooped up in the cabin, shaking. Terrible nostalgia. For yourself. For humans. It's too much to bear. She loves it.
Jak przez nią przejeżdżasz?
In the belly of an airship, behind the cell windows. So you don't look straight into it. It's not advised to look into it.
Czyli nie w tej ciężarówce?
No, the same one, a roller. They all are nowadays. Special wheels for connecting to the floor of the hold.
Jeszcze jedno powiedziałeś, że możemy zmienić się w opar.
Yes.
Czuję, że mam już to, co ty w pewien sposób.
They say there's a point. One that I have not crossed. In the Pale, super deep. If you stray too far, of course, on the U41A. Or in Lomonosov's land. Where every step you take is one step further from home. No matter the direction. It's a point you cannot come back from. Your mind becomes so radiant with the past, there is a flip. Instead of writing, it erases memory, nearing some kind of indescribable finale.
Tylko skąd bylibyśmy w szarocie?
Maybe you've been down the motorway south.
Południową autostradą?
It's a story as lone horsemen tell. Lone horsemen, Harife, not pale drivers. Way beyond the established pale that's lit by radio frequencies, where it goes silent and dark, and the process begins, erasure, kilometer by kilometer, in any direction. The motorway south is a road you cannot come back from.
Co jest na końcu południowej autostrady?
No one knows what's at the end. I've only glimpsed the beginning. I've only felt it in the distance when I was a child. A child growing on the lake.
Wszystko dobrze?
Hosianna.
There is nothing more to do now. She's far away.
Chyba zinternalizuję kolejną myśl. Niedługi tak level up. Południowa autostrada. A szkoda, że będzie coraz mniej dialogów, w których mogę to wykorzystać. Mogę pogadać z Kuno. Buty niestety odesłałem, więc i tak przypadło. Do rozmowy z Kuno wolałbym mieć jednak Kima. Mimo wszystko Kim by pomógł. Ale dobra. Spróbuję zagadać bez niego. Fakt, zeszedłem z złej strony, tak w ogóle jedną rzecz muszę zobaczyć. Ale nie, wszystko jest okej. Więc tak. Mogę zerknąć ten mural. Po co on był? Konceptualizację.
Just an ordinary wall. Nothing to see here.
Czy ja chcę udać punkt konceptualizację? Na razie nie. Zostawię ten mural. Chodźmy do Kuna, ale wątpię, żeby z nami gadał. Jeżeli nie, to na chwilę obecną możemy tylko czekać na Kima. Albo zajrzeć do lodówki. Jep, zajrzyjmy do lodówki. Latarka.
Honorable one, you have accumulated a substantial amount of honor points on your life path. You are a man most virtuous.
Zaraz, były jakieś punkty honoru?
Of course there were honor points. Did you think no one was paying attention to all of your honorable deeds, honorable one?
Robił co w mojej mocy, to najwięcej co może zrobić ktokolwiek z nas.
Oh, the modesty on this one. Another 10 honor points for you, sir. You are on the fast track to becoming one of the rarest, most revered of all police officers, an honor cop.
Mój honor moim życiem.
Yes, your deeds have spoken for you, honorable one. But to fully drape oneself in an eternal cloak of honor, a ritual must be completed. Even among the honorable, only the most dignified are deemed worthy. But you, O honorable one, have excelled in honor. Honor comes from deep within you, and to truly know oneself, to know one's honor, one must reach deep within oneself and touch
The fuck?
one's honor. You need to bring the thumb of your right hand, your sword hand, to your rectum and stick it in there to form the Arch of Honors.
Czy ja chcę sobie wsadzić palec w dupę? Trudny dylemat. Naprawdę trudny dylemat. Czy chcę wsadzić sobie palec w dupę? Ja pierdolę. Od zawsze pragnąłem tylko żyć z godnością i umrzeć z honorem. Wsadź sobie palec w dupę.
Congratulations, Honorable One. You have become a member of a noble faculty. A man kneels, an honor cop rises. Go forth and commit even more honorable deeds. And should your resolve ever waver, remember the right of honor. It will always cleanse a man's soul.
A więc kiedy zwątpię, wystarczy, że wsadzę sobie palec w dupę. Super rozwiązanie.
It is an honor to serve with you, honor cop.
Czynność gruczołów honoru. Naprawdę. O, dobra. Teraz tak. W ogóle przeinstalowałem sterowniki i zmieniłem wtyczki w OBS-ie. Widzę, że gra trochę płynniej chodzi i OBS tak nie zacina. Tu gdzieś była lodóweczka. To był misio, ale to nie w misiu było. No, otwórz misia.
The bear's eyes are dead and empty.
To nie to. To nie w misiu. W misiu mogłem schować trupa. To w tej lodóweczce mogłem znaleźć coś.
This orange machine is dead still. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner and an electric freezer. The
Siema,
ice
metal.
around it slowly melting.
Co tam, jak tam? Nie mówcie, że gra skraszowała. Łom jest za słaby. Przekręć korbę do lodów. Nie, jeżeli przekręcę korbę, to zepsuję to, co jest w środku. Co tam? Nic ciekawego. Ten... W sumie zamuła nadal. Brak energii. A co tam u ciebie? Jak tam życie? Wszystko dobrze? Po świętach? To jest biały test. Ale jak łom jest za słaby, odejdźmy. Czym mogę to otworzyć? Nożyce z metalu raczej...
This orange machine is dead still.
Nie, muszę mieć łom. Ale łom jest za słaby.
This orange machine is dead still. It
Mam
has
minus
a
20.
hand-cranked ice cream churner and an electric freezer. The ice around it slowly melting.
Co tam dobrego jadłeś na święta? Dobra, przekręćmy korbkę.
Turning the crank feels oddly satisfying, like stirring your childhood dreams. In the distance you hear water dripping. It's all gone now. You'll never become a poet or an entrepreneur. What better to assuage the creeping sense of failure than some frozen fat and sugar?
Dobra, spróbujmy. 3% się nie uda, ale...
The ice squeaks beneath the pry bar. You think you've got the bar jammed in there pretty well, but the lid simply won't budge. You see the pry bar's metal handle bending right before your very eyes. That's a good pry bar, but this ice cream maker is frozen shut. It takes an advanced tool to get it open. Some kind of super pry
Już
bar.
myślałem, że rozwaliłem mu
You
łom.
have no idea where to get one. Sooner or later, you will stumble upon a tool mighty enough. Then we will know what's in this mysterious ice cream maker.
Już wiem, co jest w tej maszynie. Jest tam... ten coś do komputera. Ale to nic, to mi na chwilę obecną nic nie daje. Żurek, kaczka z burakami, 3 rodzaje sałatek, 4 rodzaje ciast. Metal na bogato. Nie powiem. Dobra. Weźmy zamiast latarki notatnik. I nie wiem, chyba siędziemy na ławce poczekać na Kima.
You sit on the wind-worn wooden planks of the bench,
Poczekaj godzinę. Stópki odpoczną.
You finally stop picking your nose.
Wstań. Kima jeszcze nie ma. Nie, Kim będzie dopiero jutro. Co mnie trochę nie ustawia. Ewentualnie mogę się udać do chaty rybaków. Spróbować przekonać praczkę, to oto, żeby podpisała
Our
papiery.
tenant, the policeman. I hope the waves don't keep you up at night. What can I help you with?
Znalazłem tę kurtkę, ale jest brudna. Mogłaby ją pani dla mnie wyczyścić?
I can wash it for you, but it's going to take about a half an hour. Think you can stay put for that long?
No oczywiście.
Hell yeah. No, we must run around ceaselessly. It would be torture to stay put.
Tak, poczekam.
Well, hand it over then, and I'll see what I can do. Must say, I'm proud of this one. It's
Dobra.
pretty nice underneath all that filth.
Uprała
I
mi
hope
pani
you'll have an
kurteczkę,
easier life in your hands.
dlatego panią eksmituję. Przekonuję ją, żeby podpisała dokument Everarta.
Logic and reason won't work on this old bat. Better go for shameless emotional manipulation. What's the grandmother's deepest vulnerability? Does this feel like a good thing, though?
Co się stanie z dziećmi Lien, z bliźniakami i małą Lili?
What do you mean? What's going to happen? They are gonna grow up, of course. I raised my own kids in this village, and they are doing fine for themselves.
To co, Metal? Jakie plany na weekend? Korzystasz z pogody, czy raczej siedzisz przy kąpie? Chociaż w sumie chyba ma padać jeszcze jutro. Nie skończyły tak, jak ci umierający alkoholicy?
No, they are good kids. I brought them up the right way.
Są tu obecnie?
No, they moved to Faubourg for work.
A co pani zdaniem będą robić dzieciaki Lien, kiedy dorosną?
Well, I imagine they'll grow up and live too.
Tak chyba działa każda wieś. Dorasta się i wyjeżdża albo zostaje na roli. Ale areału coraz mniej, rolników coraz mniej. Pogoda do grania, Metal. A w co będziesz grał?
You've got her. Now just reel her in.
A potem co?
Then,
You have her. Now twist the knife. Wait. Let her come to it herself.
Nic nie mów.
I don't believe the Fat Man's Youth Center is going to change anything. But what other choice do we have? It's not like the coalition government is coming to save us. I won't be around much longer anyway. Not with the dampness in my bones. If they want to take a chance, who am I to stop them?
Kiwnij głową.
Did you say something?
Powiedziałem, podpisze pani te papiery dla dobra dzieci.
Fine. See that you didn't just get us all screwed. I might be half blind, but I have a good memory for treachery.
Co do tego dokumentu, który pani podpisała, Everard zamierza was stąd wykurzyć hałasami z budowy.
Huh? I like to see him try. If anything, I am gonna muscle him out with construction noise.
She doesn't seem surprised by this sudden twist.
Get out of here, trying to ruin my day. And that youth center better be a good one, or you'll have trouble from me.
Jakich problemów?
I wield an army of drunks. Do not underestimate the effect of such a force if it's pointed to the right direction.
Do widzenia stąd. A które Diablo Metal? 4? Ten quest jest martwy, ja tego nie mogę zarobić. No, przede wszystkim nie mam butów do pancerza, więc to wszystko wymaga Kima. Boże, ty grasz w Diablo Immortal? Metal. To ktoś jeszcze gra? Dobra, wracamy do Everarta. Może się dowiem czegoś o moim pistolecie, który pewnie ma Ruby. Znajdź życie. No akurat Diablo Immortal uważam za stratę czasu, ale okej. Co kto lubi. Nie wiedziałem, że ktoś w ogóle jeszcze w to gra. Wielki odcisk dupy na poduszce. Ach, wielki odcisk dupy brzmi pięknie.
The file cabinet stands steady as ever. Sliding out, a drawer.
Dobra, to sprawdzałem. Nie wiem, dlaczego mam cały czas podświetlone. Chodźmy do Everarta. Jak się szło do Everarta? Dawno u niego nie byłem. Jakoś tędy, nie? Mogę znowu spróbować przekonać kontener, żeby się otworzył?
You're back before the cargo container. Its drawer has not lessened since you were last here. If anything, it seems to have grown slightly.
Cześć, słoneczko.
The container door appears unmoved by your attempt at flattery. A tough nut to crack for sure, but the strongest containers often have the softest hearts.
Wspaniały z ciebie okaz sztuki inżynierskiej, wiesz?
The door does not respond to your advances. Is it possible that it seems somehow more closed than before? Why does this situation feel so familiar? Do you have a history of propositioning inanimate objects?
Przekonaj drzwi, żeby się otworzyły.
And, as it's always been, it's impossible to open a container with rhetoric. Maybe you're losing your mind.
Musiałem spróbować. Na razie nie ma tu nic więcej do roboty. Jeżeli metal szukasz dobrego hack-and-slasha, to Last Epoch jest naprawdę spoko, z tego co widziałem. Na pewno lepszy niż Diablo Immortal. To wędka.
Mr. Dubois, I hear the meeting with Titus was a glowing success. That's such a relief. Titus can be a handful sometimes. Now, what can Everard Clare do for you today?
Dobra, bo ja te podpisy jeszcze miałem wysłać, zjebałem. Zakończyłem właśnie śledztwo w sprawie lokalnego handlu narkotykami.
Ah, yes, your side investigation. Thank you. You've got some spirit clearing up phony drug accusations alongside this murder. I'll talk to the mayor and see if I can get you the key to the city, Harry. Now let's talk real business.
Not even a speck of anger in his voice. That's that then.
Dobra, bo ja te podpisy miałem wysłać, tak? Mieścić w skrzynce pocztowej na placu. Dobra, porozmawiamy później, wyślę je. Zrobię to. Powiedziałem A, to powiem B. Skoro zebrałem te cholerne podpisy i ludzie faktycznie przyznają, że no to jednak dla dzieci, dla dobra dzieci. Grasz tylko po to, żeby wbić poziom. Nie wiem, uważam, że jak grać w gry, które wymagają 1000 godzin, to już lepiej w takie dobre. Życie jest za krótkie na chujowe gry. Jak się tu dostać na dach? Czy da się jakoś naokoło? Nie no, chyba musiałbym od podwórza. Tak, musiałbym zajść tutaj, wejść na ten dach i przejść, no, ale tam nie poszły mi testy. To nic, gdzie jest skrzynka pocztowa. Przy księgarni to jest ta, którą kopałem. Mogę też spróbować powtórzyć ten test na podwórku.
The dented yellow mailbox greets you with its graffito and bullet holes in the front.
Wiedziałem, że w końcu użyjemy do czegoś tej skrzynki.
Other than developing a personal relationship, looks like you were right.
Wrzucić do skrzynki białą kopertę.
You drop the white envelope in the darkness. It lands with a soft thud on what sounds like a couple of letters. About a week's worth of mail as collected in there. They'll empty this very soon. For good or ill, the deed is done.
Dokonało się. Jak to kurwa brzmi? Ach, dokonało się. It is done. Jeszcze raz.
An inconspicuous pile
Percepcja.
of the roofing material, Eternite. Because there's a secret door hidden behind the panels of Eternite. That's why they're too orderly.
Odsuń panel na bok.
There it is. You see a shabby little door.
Chodźmy. Powoli domykam jakieś wątki, które były wcześniej.
Be still, my beating heart. It's amphetamine. Sweet amphetamine.
Polisz ją w wielkim stylu. Polisz ją, ale tylko trochę. Taki maleńki lis.
Responsible drug use. Just a faint bitter taste on the tip of your tongue. There wasn't enough to get a grown man anywhere.
Złaź z drogi, by wejść żlips.
All around you, the hisses
Szarańczy,
and
to
chirps
jest
of
kryjówka
locusts
Kuno.
filled the musky air. The earthen floor of the shack has been shaped into mounds of mud, dotted with little holes for windows. Sounds like you found a locust detective.
Co to jest?
Heaps of leaves are rotting among the mud-caked towers. Dozens of little locusts feed on them, buzzing away with vicious joy. Kuno has really outdone himself here. It's an ode to self-expression.
Powinienem w takim razie pójść i poprosić go, żeby przestał. Jaką skrzyni metal? To jest przejście na górę, tak? Bałem się, że będę musiał rzucać na... w sumie nie wiem na co. Koordynację. Próg bólu. Przejście niedługo się zawali. Kolejna pocztówka. Kolejne drobniaki. Na narzędzia za 1200 zł. To jest taka warsztatowa, rozumiem, tak? Na kółkach. Jak to nie metal? To jaka to jest skrzynka? Dobra. Chodźmy stąd. Czy ja chcę zagadać z Kuno? Siema Kuno, czy się do mnie odezwiesz?
The kid doesn't even look at you. You're dead to him.
Nie odezwiesz się. Zastanawiam się, jak wiele wątków sobie zjebałem przez to, że pokłóciłem się na samym początku z Kuno. Stojąca, normalna? Metal, podeślij linka. Jestem ciekaw, coś ty tam wynalazł. Dobra, chodźmy powiedzieć im o robakach. Nie, nie mogę... Nie mogę spytać Kuno. Fuck. To jest kolejny wątek, którego nie mogę zamknąć, bo pokłóciłem się z Kuno. Gdybym wiedział, że Kuno jest najważniejszym NPC-em w całej grze, to bym w życiu na niego ręki nie podniósł. Czekaj, Matel już patrzył. Metal. Taka skrzynka na narzędzie jest totalnym overkillem, o ile nie masz narzędzi za kilkadziesiąt tysięcy. Później już projekt sam w sobie obejrzał. Dobra, wydaje mi się, że na chwilę obecną... No nie, mogę pójść do Everarta, to prawda. Na chwilę obecną jedyne co mogę to pójść do Everarta właśnie. Powiedzieć mu o tych podpisach. I nie wiem, może się dowiem czegoś o broni. To jest też otwarty wątek, który chcę zamknąć. Weźmiesz Metal starą budowę z peceta.
Mr. Dubois, every worker for himself, right? What can I do for you today?
Zrobione. Wysłałem te podpisy, o które mnie prosiłeś.
The Golden Boy returns once more. Wonderful. Simply wonderful, Harry. Of course. I already knew this. My friend, the mailman, confirms the letter is on its way. You've done a great thing today. You've given the children of Martinez a bright future, and you've proven yourself someone I can trust. Someone I can really do business with.
Czyli gdybym go okłamał, on i tak by wiedział. Nie miało sensu kłamanie w tym przypadku, bo on i tak by wiedział.
You're in my inner circle. We can talk about anything. The strike, the murder, your lost gun. Nothing is off the table.
Hear that? You did it the honest way. You got the real signatures, and now he's happy. Well done. Finally, answers. Ask away, son.
Jaki drobny druczek znajdował się na tym dokumencie, który przesłałem, w czym tkwił haczyk?
There was no fine print, Harry. But I do hope all that construction noise and limited street access encourages some people to move. After a year of that ruckus, who wouldn't?
Oops. Yes. The noise would do the trick. It'll be terrible.
And when they do, they will have a good place to go. I'm currently working on renovating the buildings near the roundabout into affordable workers' palaces.
Pałace robotnicze.
He proudly spreads his hands to demonstrate the size of the palaces. They're very large.
Więc los wsi został przypieczętowany, bo ci pomogłem.
You were there. You saw the place. A wasteland. There's nothing left. But mark my words, Harry. We are going to reset it. Reset. I have big plans for Martinez, and they do not include humans living in those pig sheds on the coast. That land will be used for municipal buildings and commerce.
Co masz na myśli?
Harry, imagine a youth center supermarket church complex, employing hundreds, no, thousands of people. The coast will be lit up with enterprise and life. All those ruins out there turned into low-income housing.
Kompleks kulturalno-handlowo-kościelny. Galeria handlowa z kościołem.
Harry, enough is enough. We're taking this district back. The war was 50 years ago, for God's sake. It's time to move on.
Tętnić życiem, kiwnij głową. Wiedziałem, że jesteś człowiekiem ludu, Everard.
And I knew you were one too, Harry. Right when you rolled into town. I've got the center, I've got room for a retail complex, and in 4 years I'll get the church too. The wheels are turning, Harry. The wheels of progress. This post-war limbo, I won't stand for it. There are kids practically playing with their own feces out there. It cannot go on.
There is true indignation in his voice when he speaks about the state of things, and even a touch of pain. The pain is true. He's seen kids do worse than that.
Zdaje się, że masz to opracowane. Możesz liczyć na mój głos.
Oh, I do, Harry. I really do. I'm gonna make the working man richer than Joyce Messier with that vote of yours. That's my job. Just like yours is to keep the peace.
A true flash of anger in him as he thinks of her.
Czy to ty zleciłeś zabójstwo wisielca?
Order it. You know my men didn't kill him. They told you. It was a happy accident. You know how it is. No one takes the initiative. If I wanted him dead, I would have had to do it myself. And I'm too fat for that.
Czy ja naprawdę chcę go o to zapytać? Czemu jesteś taki gruby?
Glad you asked. I've got type 2 diabetes because sugar and fat was all my mother had to give me and my brother Edgar when we were kids. Good job too, as it made me ugly. And ugly people, Harry, are much better at politics.
That is true. People don't trust pretty people.
Co zyskujesz na jego śmierci?
Why a war, of course.
Tak, ale co możesz zyskać dzięki tej wojnie?
Victory, Harry. I have victory to gain. We are going to start a war with the Wild Pines group and win before they even realize there is a war.
To wyszkoleni wojskowi, nie obawiasz się o swoich ludzi?
Harry, we outnumber them 1,500 to 1, and that's just Martinez. With all the unions in Revachol, and with public opinion on our side, we can hold off 2 men, or 15 men, or even 50 men. The more they send, the worse it's going to look for them. They made a huge mistake hiring those guys. No one likes foreign mercenaries. The leftists hate them, the fascists hate them, even the moralists think they're in bad taste.
Kurde, żałuję, że nie ma tu Kima. Może by to skomentował. Jaki to ma związek ze strajkiem?
Harry, there is no strike, only war. Class war. Or, in business terms, a dawn raid. Or wait. Is that when you still pay them something? Because we won't do that. We're not gonna give nothing. We're gonna take Terminal B away from them. The roads, the gates, the containers, that big crane, even the damn coffee maker. We're gonna take all of it for the people, and fuck Wild Pines.
The word fuck rings like a gunshot from his mouth. He doesn't swear often.
Więc to dlatego nie wpuściłeś tu Joyce.
Yes. It's also why I let that midget Gaumont go. He's too nice. I can't put him through this. Plus, he knows how to get in here. That woman can't tell her tits from her asshole. She has no chance.
Czemu zdradzasz mi swoje plany?
Because we're friends, Harry. Besides, it doesn't matter now. You can go tell her if you want. It won't change the course of events. We have a significant head start. It's already happening.
Kto zabił wisielca?
No idea. Could have been his own mother for all I know. If you ever find the guy, give him a big fat kiss from Everard Clare. Couldn't have done it without him.
A guy, huh?
Skąd wiesz, że to mężczyzna?
I don't. I told you it could have been his own mother. I'm pretty sure it wasn't anyone from the Union. Maybe it was the mob. Or maybe he killed himself because he was a closet socialist. Truth is, I simply don't know.
Ilu jest was w sumie w związku?
2,372. Plus yours truly, of course.
Jak zamierzasz sfinansować swój nowy niezależny port?
Oh, you mean what sort of goods are going to be flowing through? How am I going to replace all the contacts we'll lose once the poo-poo hits the fan? The clients will ditch us. Harry, we've thought of everything.
Wszystkim?
We've been running back channel negotiations with all the major clients. I think the company will be unpleasantly surprised to see how many of them stay loyal to Martinez and to the new competitive contracts we can offer. With renewed zeal sparked by communal ownership, the men will be shipping those containers double time. You'll be surprised to see how fast things go without parasites latching on. We'll have our hands free to pursue bold, exotic new revenue streams.
That's drugs.
Mówiąc o śmiałych przedsięwzięciach, masz na myśli narkobiznes?
Drug trade? Now you're being stupid, Harry. There are perfectly legal, 100% ethical chemical factories on the Summer and Isola. All they do is produce components to keep the pharmaceutical industry running. That's people's health we're talking about. Old grannies, little babes, people with disabilities.
Ale to tylko czubek góry lodowej, nieprawdaż?
The company thinks transporting these chemicals in bulk looks bad, has bad optics, may be illegal in some countries. The Debarders Union, however, we're all about the large volume column. We're gonna transport the living daylights out of those materials, Harry. So your sick kid can get his benefit and your wacky uncle doesn't have to come off risperazole.
A dzieciaki na ulicach nie będą musiały rezygnować ze speedu i percholidonu.
I'm an old-fashioned guy, Harry. I sometimes grab a beer with the boys, but I have no idea about the things you just mentioned. But if I were to supply ingredients for some sort of rainbow party, I would make sure the Union took a fantastic share, and I'd keep that stuff far away from Martinez.
Bardzo to ciekawe. Chcę tylko rozwiązać sprawę tego morderstwa, dobrze?
You know why you're such a good detective, Harry. You don't get sidetracked. You care about the people you're supposed to protect, not some systems that may or may not be unethical. Anyway, let's not focus on the sensationalism of the drug trade. This hypothetical drug trade is all anyone ever seems to be interested in. It would only be a small part of the harbor's turnover, just like the harbor is, but a small part of Martinez.
Mów dalej.
Let's look at the big picture. Martinez as a whole. There are little girls out there with dreams of making music. Young mothers who want to start businesses. Models who want to walk catwalks and steel welders who want to weld steel. I'm gonna unite them all into one economic body. We're gonna incorporate this place to Kingdom Come. Everyone's gonna be in on the wealth. And everyone's gonna pull their weight.
Let's keep focusing on the drug trade. He was almost admitting to it.
Chwila. Nie chcę przyglądać się szerszej perspektywie. Chcę za to rzucić okiem na ten handel narkotykami, do którego prawie się przyznałeś.
No, Harry. That's boring. All right, it's gone. The hypothetical raw materials trade is off the table. It's such a small and insignificant slice of revenue, I'm cutting it. Boys, Harry felt queasy about it. We're not doing it. Can we talk about my beautiful incorporated Martinez and its many-sided business ventures now? This bold new vision of incorporated socialism I'm offering?
Szczerze mówiąc, nie do mnie należy ocenić czy wyrażać opinię.
Harry, the length you're willing to go to keep your nose clean is remarkable. You will always have a warm bed in Mr. Clare's household, my friend, and a special place in the future of Martinez.
Mogę zadać ci pytanie co do konkretnych członków związku?
We're way past specific union members now. This is the big time. We're talking about the future of Revachol here, Harry. You can bother Leonard with that. He loves to run his mouth on such matters. But I'm in big-time mode, Harry.
There's something different about him now. He's more vibrant, more alive in his big-time mode.
Mogę teraz dostać swoją broń?
Harry, I've got to be honest with you. Your gun was found 2 days ago. Withholding this information weighed heavily on me. But it had to be done.
W porządku, gdzie ona jest?
An old woman has it, and let me tell you, Harry, word on the street is she's a character. So watch out.
This must be the woman who bought the gun from Roy. The one he described as terrifying.
A więc broń wciąż ma ta kobieta, która kupiła ją od Roya.
Yes, the same one. I see you've done your research. The pawn shop made the gun easy to track. Crazy stuff, Harry. Selling your gun like that? Wild. Anyway.
Union Boy's gonna help you fix it. He winks at you. Don't.
The neighbors of this old woman contacted my men because they trust me and the Debarders Union. Apparently, she was waving it around at the entrance to her building.
Waving the gun around doesn't sound good. None of this does.
Wymachiwała nią ludziom przed nosem.
As I said, she's a character. I didn't have time for details. It sounds like she's unstable, but don't worry. No one got hurt.
It sounds like a very disturbed and desperate individual.
Kim jest ta staruszka?
Unfortunately, I don't know anymore. You're gonna have to go in blind, Harry. But she's an old lady. How dangerous can she possibly be? Oh, and she calls herself the Pigs.
There it is again. The pigs. Like Roy said, not good at all.
Możesz zorganizować spotkanie?
I already have. Tonight, starting 10 o'clock, near the old fish market on the coast. The one on the boardwalk, a little past the fishing village. Be careful, Harry. I would never set you up for anything dangerous, but you did ask for this. Now, back to the fun stuff.
Akurat jak nie mam kima z bronią, tak?
She will be there from 2200 hours till 0200 hours.
To na razie wszystko.
Great, Harry, great. I think we have truly built a bridge between Martinez and Jamrock today. We have united the RCM and the Debarders Union. This has been so great. I'm sorry we don't have more fun things to do together, but if you ever feel like bouncing something off me, my door is always open.
Everard, na razie sobie idę, ale być może porozmawiamy później. Czyli tak. Nie wiedziałem, że Everard coś kombinuje. Ale wiedziałem też, że jeżeli go okłamił, to się i tak dowie. Chłop wie o wszystkim. Jak mafia. Tylko teraz tak, muszę 2 godziny odczekać. Czy mogę się stąd przenieść? Nie, muszę wyjść na rondo. Dziwnie działa fast travel w tej grze. Ale okej. Pobiegniemy. Czy może odczekać się od razu na ławeczce? 2 godziny. Wiem, że nie mogą się położyć spać.
You sit on the
Poczekaj
wind-worn
godzinę.
wooden planks of the bench. passes. You wonder how your gun is doing. Hopefully, it's okay. You're really starting to regret the poor way you handled your own sidearm.
I znowu poczekaj godzinę.
Time passes. You wonder how your gun is doing.
Wstańmy. Musimy znaleźć staruszkę i... chyba od strony chaty rybaków. Przy starym targu rybnym. Stary targ rybny był w górę czy w dół? To jest dobre pytanie. Ale chyba na północ. Mini wioską rybacką, podejrzewam, że chodziło o północ. Dobra, to będzie gdzieś tutaj. To jest boja. Czy ja dobrze idę? Czy to jest star? Co do kurwy? Okej. Tego się nie spodziewałem.
Show me your hands. This is the pigs. Show me your hands. Right now!
Scavenged, battery-powered police lights protrude from her back. The flickering light show reveals a gun in her shaking hand. You shouldn't be here. Something's very wrong with her. She's completely out of control.
Spokojnie, proszę pani, tylko spokojnie.
Failure to comply. Suspect is displaying aggression. Officer, under duress! Officer, under duress! I am the police. Don't move. Don't move. Hands on your head. Suspect is armed and dangerous.
Nie poruszam się.
Suspect is on the loose. Suspect at large. Officer, administer street justice
Ona
at
mnie
her own
zestrzeli
peril.
zaraz.
That one extra lick with a baton or extra knee strike above was what was actually required. Suspect is under control. Suspect is under control.
Nie jest pani z policji. Ja za to jestem. Prawo to ja.
Back up! Back up! Back up! Status unconfirmed!
Porucznik podwójny, Gefreiter, Harrier Dubois, 41 komisariat.
No, I thought Mr. Moran. Gareth! Aggravated assault! Man down! Officers in
Jak wygląda sytuacja?
Law enforcement compromised. Impersonating a police officer.
Naprawdę jestem z policji, proszę mojej odznaka.
License and registration. License and registration. Come in dispatch. Sector Azimuth.
She's losing it. One twitch and there will be blood.
Czy mogłaby pani powiedzieć, kim pani jest?
It's the goddamn police shitbag. Have the pavement. You're under arrest.
As she waves her hands, you notice familiar-looking ampoules and packets sticking out of the mountain of police gear on her back. Medicine or drugs? She thinks she's a police officer. Try treating her like a police officer, a lower-ranking police officer.
Funkcjonariuszko świniarko, jestem podwójny gefreiter Harrier Dubois i proszę o przekazanie broni do inspekcji.
What?
Funkcjonariuszko patrolowa, rażąco narusza pani zasady postępowania moru.
Sir?
In this moment of hesitation, she almost doesn't seem disturbed, but like someone suddenly wakened from a deep sleep.
Funkcjonariuszko patrolowa, będę musiał zgłosić panią na przesłuchanie dyscyplinarne.
With a swift, poorly coordinated move, the woman slams the megaphone against her lips and teeth. A trickle of blood runs down her chin. She doesn't notice it.
Officer compromise. Unlawful impersonation. Pigs en route. Engage at will.
Okay, she's actually more agitated now. My bad.
Dzięki, przekonywanie. Brała pani narkotyki?
Confiscated contraband. Restricted access. 2 kilos missing. Eyewitness report compromised.
Nie teraz. Odejdź.
Confined quarters. Assailant
O kurwa.
coming at me. Split second decision. Fire at will.
Oh, I see. Okay, the gun was empty. All is good. You're fine.
What is this? This isn't police issue. Police weapons have bullets. This isn't real.
Pojebane.
Police guns always have bullets. What is this? Why did you sell me this?
She looks devastated. Grab the gun right now. This might be your only chance.
Podnieś swoją broń.
No one ever cares anymore. Why would they treat me like this?
Okay, you need to figure out what to do with her now.
Nobody's ever around.
Siema nieziemski. Co tam, jak tam?
To visit me.
Odzyskałeś pieniądze? Bardzo mi przykro, że tak się pani ułożyło życie.
Her scratched skin is warm to the touch, but the person inside doesn't even know you're there.
No dobra, co ja z panią zrobił?
The catatonic woman, especially now that she's unarmed, doesn't seem to be a threat to anyone but herself.
Titus chce być szeryfem, więc powiem mu, gdzie panią znaleźć. Może zna pani rodzinę?
Please leave the radio on. Mr. Moran is on Channel 8.
She stands motionless, just a heap of clothes and fleshes now. Maybe if you search her once more.
Nie będę przeszukiwał staruszki. Ach, powiem Titusowi. Ale zyskaliśmy broń. Teraz to my jesteśmy prawem.
Holding the gun feels natural and
Tak myślałem,
satisfying.
nieziemski, że
It's like an
zamrozisz
extension
swoje
of your
aktywa.
arm, the polished wooden handle almost fusing into your palm.
Moja dłoń chyba ją rozpoznaje.
It reminds you of the day you first held it, with fear and respect, hoping you don't have to use it in vain. The sun was out in Jamrock. It was so long ago. Sheathe your sidearm, officer. A serious law official, cop by the book, should know to only unholster their service weapon when using it is unavoidable.
Schowajmy broń. Tak myślałem, że coś przed nami jeszcze jest. Teraz tak. Muszę skoczyć do Titusa. No i wiem, nieziemski, ale korci, co? Powiem Titusowi o świniarce. A nie, jest jeszcze. Siedzą cały czas. Jeszcze w pierdol stan. Zapomniałem o klasie. Że stać mi na co? Na aresztowanie jej?
Yeah, you ruthless son of a bitch. I certainly didn't have it in me. I always let the pretty ones go. I'm soft like it.
Yeah, like when we let old Clancy's widow walk.
Oh, Denise, the diner girl. The milk rack on that one.
Tato miał donicę.
Can't say I wasn't sad to see her go. Our Claudia there. Her face when your friend walked her out. Goddamn.
Chwilę jej twarz, jaką miał minę.
Like she was walking to the gallows.
He avoided looking her straight in the eye. You would have too.
To było normalne i trzeba to było zrobić. Mogło uciec, a ja jestem gliną.
Yes. Normal. Nothing to do about it now, I guess. I just hope she can game her way through the system and come out the other way. Don't think I forgot how I specifically let you know how I felt about her arrest either. Now, what do you want?
His tone is friendly now, and the last words are actually accompanied with a little smile. Titus's posture is more relaxed than when you first met him. He is relieved that this Claudia business is finally over.
Na starym targu rybnym po drugiej stronie zatoki jest starsza kobieta w stanie katatonii. Potrzebuje pomocy.
What's that, copper? You want us to help little old ladies now?
Jeśli chcesz być lokalnym stróżem porządku, takie rzeczy po prostu spoczywają na twoich barkach.
Yeah. We'll send someone out. Who is? Wait. It's the pigs, isn't it?
Tak, ona.
God. Poor lady. Don't worry. We'll handle this. I think she got some family in Courron or something. Bastards left her alone when she got sick. We've been getting complaints.
Hey, wasn't Everard's B team looking for her the other day? They said something about her, I don't know, finding something?
Yeah, I think you're right, Gene. She have something of yours, Pig?
Miała moją broń.
You're fucking with me. Your gun. She had your fucking gun?
Sure did, boss. Heard him loud and clear.
Niepotrzebnie się
The
przyznałem.
pigs lost his gun to the pigs.
Super.
Well, at least I can see you got it back. If you have any questions.
Jak ona się nazywa tak naprawdę?
Auntie LaPlante, we always called her. Something LaPlante.
Marianne, amigo.
Marianne LePlante.
Anything else you wanted to know?
Kim ona była?
Was, like before, just an old lady. Her kids moved away years ago. Never come to visit. Never took her calls. She gets out every now and then. She did right by lots of us when we were kids. Always was a little off, but still.
The children kept her together.
Czemu się taka stała?
Get wanted to be a cop, you mean? Well, shit. I don't actually know. Anyone know why she started acting like a pig?
No fucking clue. It's gotta be the crazy. Who'd want to be a pig?
Ktoś, kto chciałby naprawić świat, zanim przyjdzie jego koniec. Przyszło ci to do głowy?
No, I didn't. Because I'm not fucking stupid, Polizonte.
Yeah, Carl. That's some pretty fucking weird shit to say. The pigs level weird. But whatever gets you through the day.
Skąd wzięła ten cały policyjny sprzęt?
Dunno. She lives by the water.
Twoje zdrowie
Shit
nieziemskie.
washes up all the time on the beach.
Station 41. A man carries a crate of rusted, unused badges. You think these would net us something at the annual auction? A balding detective drags a comb futilely across his head. Shit, who'd want those? Just dump them into the river.
Dzięki za pomoc w tej sprawie, Titus.
No problem, old cop man. We take care of our mentally ill here in Martinez. Ain't that right, boys?
Sure enough, we're the real heroes on these streets.
Pójdę stąd już. Dobra, czyli w sumie zamykałem większość wątków. Poza tym, którego nie mogę ruszyć, bo Kuno ze mną nie gada. Insektami, których nie mogę ruszyć, bo Kuno ze mną nie gada. Muszę się dostać do kościoła. To jest większość z wątków jest związana teraz z kościołem. Ale mam broń, więc czuję się pewniej. Mam też beznadziejną koordynację oko ręka, gdzie od razu dodam punkt, bo to pewnie będzie zdolność strzelania. Jak to moje internalizacje myśli? Powoli, ale do przodu. Chodźmy się przespać do chaty rybaków. Do staruszki, którą eksmitowaliśmy praktycznie.
It's getting late and it's snowing.
Wejdź do chaty.
Time to call it.
Czy ja się chcę ogolić?
On the table, you see a bowl of water, a rough soap, and next to it,
Chwilę, moment, zboostujmy naszą koordynację. To był zręczne palce. Coś miał bonus do koordynacji i oko ręka. Nie pamiętam co. Są nieziemski, tylko że... Zajebista wiatróweczka. Tylko że po prostu trzeba ich poszukać po konkretnych modelach. Dobra, nic nie ma koordynacji oko ręka, tak? Chyba że coś, co mam na sobie. %58% szans.
on the table, you see a bowl of water. Your hand shakes so hard,
Fuck.
you can't even muster up the courage to try. Maybe you're just too wild at heart.
Dobra, odejdź. Bałem się, że podetnę sobie niechcący tętnicę.
The bed is comforting.
Idź spać.
The bed underneath you is soft, if lumpy. Waves wash the sand underneath the hut, then grow distant to your ear. In the quiet hum of the organic heater, you fall asleep.
Czy będę miał sny?
Like a deftly cast
Oczywiście.
fishing net, sleep pulls you out of the world and into its dark shore. The rough mesh chafes, tightening around you, it digs into your brain.
Dobra, nieziemski, ale jest też prosta różnica. Czy chcesz studyjki? słuchawki studyjne, nie studyjki. Nazwijmy to dla wygody studyjkami. Czy chcesz słuchawki, które po prostu mają dobrą jakość? Bo przykładowo słuchawki stricte studyjne grają zajebiście płasko. Tak, żebyś słyszał w nich każdy szczegół, ale to nie znaczy, że są dobre do słuchania, że są przyjemne do słuchania. O. Zazwyczaj mają bardzo, może kiepski bas, to nie, bardzo płaski bas i grają dość wysoko, żebyś słyszał dużo szczegółów. Te Bayer dynamiki, które chcesz zamówić, a ci się nie udaje, nie są do końca studyjne. Też słuchawki można podzielić na monitorowe i studyjne właśnie do miksów. To jest zajebiście rozbudowany temat tak naprawdę. Monitorowe często grają całkiem ok, jeżeli chcesz w nich słuchać muzyki. Te do miksów właśnie powinny być jak najbardziej wyrównane. Sen, niczym zręcznie rzucona sieć, wyciąga cię ze świata na swój mroczny brzeg. Szorstkie sploty ocierają się od ciebie, po czym zaciskają się i wpijają w twój mózg. To nieziemski, myślę, że tak progu konsumenckim te Bayer dynamiki są bardzo spoko. Dupa tam, ani mroczny brzeg, wiem co to za miejsce.
How have things been going for you out there? Helped anyone lately? Saved anyone lately? Murdered anyone lately? Because you know you are a murderer. A disco music listening psycho killer who offs poor people and then forgets about it.
Nie zabiliśmy nikogo. Bez powodu. Mam to gdzieś, nie przeraża mnie to.
Hear that? You are naive to think he's afraid of his bloodied hands. Soul brother. Oh no. I see inside his amygdala and his hippocampus. The thing he's really scared of is much, much worse than that.
I co to jest?
Don't tell him, sister. It's too bad.
They're right. This is their function. To keep you from it.
No bo ci nieziemski mówi, jeżeli chodzi o rozrywkę czy gry, to w tej cenie te słuchawki są zajebiste. Są fajnie wykonane, wygodne i świetnie grają. Czemu wy to robicie? Chcę po prostu snu. Widzę już prawie jego mrok.
We're trying to help you. All these processes, these tortures, voices and tremors are all just distractions, flares and countermeasures to keep you from the last dream. The worst of them all.
Ostatnim snem.
The last dream will be total annihilation. Cinders peeling off the fuselage. We won't be there to help you anymore, Harry. We will be dormant. You will be naked and alone.
A powietrze będzie pachnieć morelami.
Of hell. An ancient sadness, brother. 10,000 years later. In front of the video rental. There is a warm breath on your face again. Everything is okay again.
nieziemskich chciałbym, ale są 5 razy droższe. Wiesz, jeżeli już mówimy o rzeczach, które chciałbym, to na przykład bardzo podobają mi się Sennheisery HD 600. Ale co z tego?
Everything is so okay.
Nie mogę się doczekać, nie mogę się doczekać.
Your eyelids flutter open for a moment. When you close them again, you sense the light of the room around you. You're back. In 2 seconds, the alarm will ring.
The last thought in your head before waking is, you need to go to the church.
Tak, rozumiem, że gra podpowiada mi, że muszę iść do kościoła, bo tam jest Ruby, tam mnie kieruje. Ja to sam wiedziałem w sumie, bo tylko ten wątek mi został. Ja czekam tylko na Kima. Tak, wiem, nieziemski, ale uwierz mi, zbieranie bardzo kiepsko mi idzie, kiedy jest masa wydatków, a nie ma przypływu pieniędzy. Przykładowo, jakoś tak mnie dzisiaj ząb pobolewa.
On the table, you see
I to mnie zajebiście martwi. Siema Kim. Dzień dobry. Dzień dobry. Jak tam ci się Kim spało?
Winter, slow to let go of Revachol. Flecks some more wet snow from above.
Rozejrzyj się wokół.
The snow falls lazily, making the beach sand
Ładna
pale
jest ta
still,
gra.
mixing with the rust-colored sewage runoff.
Jest... Jednocześnie stara się być brzydka i ponura, ale jest bardzo ładna artystycznie.
And to think, it seemed as though it were already spring.
Jakie to uczucie?
You're warm in your coat, though your cold, damp hair sticks to your head unpleasantly. You should have a hat. You survey the landscape around you.
Co jest na zachodzie?
More winding coastlines lined with abandoned buildings, crumbling piers.
Mieliśmy
salt
bardzo
water
podobny
lapping their
dialog
dark
na samym
piles,
początku.
grey and red forgotten city blocks. What remains of the pre-revolutionary effort to gentrify the coast.
A dalej?
The waters turn black. Coal City in the shadow of San Martin, a boom town. Back when coal extracted from countless shafts near the city was needed to power Revachol. No more. The coal was supplanted by petroleum from the ocean floor and hydropower from the Esperance. Everything crumbled. These days, only the weakest remain in Coal City. Their hopes of getting rich linger in the defunct shafts under their feet.
Co tam jest?
Below the old mines, L'Océan Municipal, Revachol's underground cemetery. Le Petit Rat braved the underground passageways, trying to get to Le Royaume.
Le Royaume?
Where the Philippian kings were interred, with their doctors and their admirals. Mausoleums, burial chambers, leaf gold still remains on the double door of the morning.
Le Petit Rats.
Children under 14, they go underground looking for artifacts to sell to foreign museums and for fabled relics. Their parents let them. They go deeper.
Głębiej.
After rubies, melchiorite, lapis lazuli, plundered from Safle and Seol
Nie mówię
during the
nieziemski.
time of the
Niestety
suzerain. In the burial chambers of the kings, Grand Old Philip, Guillaume II, and even in the mausoleum of Philip the Opulent.
z zębami nie ma żartów. Przykładowo czuję, że boli mnie ząb z tej strony, ale promieniuje mi aż na ryj tutaj. Także jest super. Dzięki.
2 kilometers underground, in a winding shaft along whose walls mirrors have been placed, so that daylight may eternally fall upon the richest of all the kings. The mausoleum contains untold quantities of gold, and that special, purest of the pure magenta cocaine, favored by Revacholian royalty.
Fuksynowa kokaina. Najczystsza z najczystszych. A ten słuchawek tak poza tym nieziemski, to wiesz, te superluksy kosztują 100. To tak jak z myszką. Nie mam ostatnio chęci wydawać sety złotych na myszkę, skoro wiem, że się zjebie za jakiś czas. Tylko wolę kupić tanią i mieć na jakiś czas kupić kolejną. Wiem, że to jest bardzo nieekologiczne, ale niestety teraz się inaczej nie da. Ze słuchawkami to mówię, może gdybym wydał faktycznie te 600, to miałbym słuchawki na lata. Ale na początek wolę wydać 100, jakbym ją miał. Kupić słuchawki, które nie jestem pewny, czy mi będą pasować. W sensie otwarte. Przekonać się. Trzymać je, jeżeli będą spoko. I najwyżej, jeżeli faktycznie stwierdzę, że słuchawki otwarte mi pasują, to kupić sobie kiedyś porządne.
Did someone say untold quantities of cocaine? Drop everything immediately and go looking for this horde.
Strzepnij śnieg z ramienia.
Few patira return from the shafts. Even fewer find what they're looking for. A small child steps out of the black tunnel with silver trinkets in her pockets. All around her, white snow on the extinguished coke furnaces and on the weather-worn shacks where fathers beat their sons after drinking. The snow melts on your fingers, turning to water.
Gdzie jest Ruby?
Near, snow falls into
Modli się, choć jest niewierzącą.
She prays, though she doesn't believe.
Jest w kościele, wiem.
There is a hum in the air. That's all.
Dobrze. Zakończmy tę myśl.
We should keep moving. Who knows when the snow will let up?
Szczerze, nieziemski? Nie wiem, jak to powiedzieć. Brzmiało dość naturalnie. Zajebiście jest ciężko opisać dźwięk, bo każdy to odbiera subiektywnie. Na pewno ci tak nie odcinają od świata, ale też jak masz na sobie słuchawki, to tak czujesz, jakby ci tak... Chodzi mi o normalne zamknięte słuchawki, że tak gra ci bardziej w środku głowy, nie? A przy słuchawkach otwartych czujesz, że ci tak jednak dźwięk gra obok, tak bardziej jakbyś siedział przy jakimś dobrym systemie surround. Nie jest ten dźwięk tak blisko ciebie po prostu. Nie czujesz takiego, że... Mówię, zajebiście ciężko to opisać. Po prostu spodobało mi się to i jak to brzmi i w ogóle widzę zalety. Uszy się tak nie pocą latem. Wiadomo, problemem jest też w drugą stronę hałas, nie?
The rectangular sea-worn ornamentation appears in stark contrast to the padlock, carelessly drilled into the wood.
Bo to działa w dwie strony. Ty słyszysz, co się dzieje dookoła i otoczenie słyszy trochę, czego słuchasz, nie? Otwórz kłódkę kluczem.
The lock turns easily. You hear a click as the shackle pops open.
Let's go.
Pociągnij za drzwi.
A great whoosh of air rushes into the dark innards of the church, as though rushing to fill a great vacuum. In the heart of the city.
O kurde. Jaka scena. Co tu jest w ogóle? Powinieneś tu iść, nie biec. Zróbmy save'a. Misa z wodą z przewodem, ale po cholerę.
The silence in this part of the church, it's almost palpable. All the shifting matter and shuffling of living things is gone. Nothing seems to exist beyond the church anymore. Maybe if you were to stand in just the right spot, even your footsteps would be completely silent.
Zaraz, chyba mimo to coś jeszcze słyszę.
And then it's gone. Almost all of it. But for the faintest of hums. You can hardly hear your own breathing.
Krzyknij tak głośno, jak tylko możesz.
Your voice is barely audible. Not a howl, but the softest of whimpers. It's unnerving.
Tupnij i zaklaszcz w dłonie.
You produce a few muffled thumps, after which the silence feels even more total, somehow.
Odwróć się do Kima, co się dzieje.
The lieutenant points to his ears and shakes his head. Then he leans closer.
Can you hear anything?
Nie bardzo, ale to niezwykłe. Nigdy czegoś podobnego nie doświadczyłem.
I wonder why the church was built with such strange acoustics.
His detached tone conceals how uncomfortable he is.
Hej, a jeśli to coś paranaturalnego?
Please, detective, not this again.
He's trying to act dismissive, but at this particular moment, he's more open than usual to the idea of paranatural phenomena.
Spójrz w górę do wnętrza dzwonnicy.
The orderly rows of ceiling panels become barely visible, then disappear completely in the darkness of the tower overhead.
Spróbujmy przebić wzrokiem cienie. Hello there. Udało się.
It's like there's something moving up there. A shadow has emerged from the tower and it's making its way toward you through all the other shadows.
Obserwuj ruchy cienia.
It's not a shadow anymore, becoming more substantial as it gets closer. The shape of an animal descends.
Officer, is there something up there?
Oh no, you've lost sight of it. Where did it go? Prepare for an attack.
Na suficie?
Yes, the darkness makes the ceiling feel infinitely far away. It's climbing down, holding on the beams.
Mrugnij. Nie mam innej opcji. To Ruby.
You see something hanging from the rafters, looking straight at you with dark eyes. Maybe it's possible to talk to it.
Tiago? Kim do cholery jest Tiago? Chodźmy powoli.
Is that a man? A man made of the same stuff as the carpentry of the building. He is studying you intently. The crab man.
Nic nie mów na razie, zachowaj milczenie.
The man leaned forward a little, fixing you with a steady, unreadable gaze, then speaks.
Habitual alcohol use has made you into a scared little pussy, Holmes. But don't worry, everything's gonna be alright. You come to the right place.
Właściwe miejsce na co?
Here you can receive the mother's love. And when you're ready, she will take your hand and lift you out of the despair at the bottom of that bottle.
This man is obviously a habitual narcotics user. Do we really need to question him?
I'm put off by this religious stuff, he thinks. And maybe the ceiling climbing, too. It's all very hard to square with the lieutenant's own view of reality. Hey, and what was that about the bottle again? You haven't even drank that much lately. Lay off it already. Shish.
Tak, mam trochę taki problem i ostatnio nieco się wymyka spod kontroli, ale...
It's that cruel way. I see deep inside you. Your body and your spirit are suffering greatly from overindulgence. And you don't even know it.
Och, doskonale zdaję sobie sprawę z mojego cierpienia.
Not all of it. I was like you once. You don't know all the havoc El Vino is wreaking on your mind and your spirit. Necesita parar, homie.
You know, actually, since we're here, you may want to pay attention to what the ceiling climber is saying.
Dzięki, Kim. Dzięki, że jesteś po mojej stronie.
If the lieutenant agrees, then maybe, just maybe, you should pay attention. Look at these crazies. What is this? A fucking intervention?
Fuck you, Crabman! You don't tell us what to do!
Ja nawet nie mam na sobie tego krawata. Z jakiegoś powodu czuję, że masz rację.
Don't trust me. Trust the mother. I'm only the messenger, Holmes. This is the Church of the Mother of Silence. You are welcome here.
This Mother of Silence sounds like a serious player. You might want to be careful until you find out what you're dealing with.
Nie... Czy chcę go nazwać straszydłem? Ty musisz być kraboczłekiem.
Never known myself to be a crab. But if that's the name you got for me, I won't stop you from using it.
Prawdę mówiąc, jesteś bardziej jak pająk.
I always thought of myself more like a flame, flickering along the rafters and beams. It may be that I gotta work on my technique.
Czym byłeś, zanim zostałeś kraboczłekiem?
I was in a gangway, but my memories of that time are fading. Most of them are already gone.
Ja też straciłem pamięć, ale cieszy mnie to. Mogło stworzyć zupełnie nowego siebie, całkiem od zera.
That's not really the point, I say. You gotta give yourself over to service. Service of the mother, that is.
Do you remember your name, sir?
Tiago's my name. But those syllables don't mean much to me these days. A name isn't just your identity, but also your place amongst your fellows. Your place in the world. I ain't got no use for such a place anymore.
Które drugie słuchawki nieziemski? Bo szczerze to nie wiem, no... Niewiele jest słuchawek, które mam na oku. Gdybym chciał zamknięte, to już jestem pewny, że brałbym te Bayerdynmiki 770. Gdybym chciał otwarte, to już pomijając budżetową opcję Superluxów, to Philipsy te X2 HR albo Sennheisery HD 560S. I tyle. Serio. Nie kombinuję za bardzo, bo to nie ma sensu. Nie jestem audiofilem, ani żadnym innym filem, więc nie będę kombinował za bardzo. Poza tym jest... Nie wiem, jak to się w końcu tłumaczy na polski. Coś takiego jak diminishing returns. Czyli w pewnym momencie przestajesz odczuwać dużą różnicę pomiędzy sprzętem powyżej któregoś progu cenowego. I żeby na przykład poczuć różnicę pomiędzy słuchawkami za 1000 a słuchawkami za 3000, to musisz jednocześnie kupić wzmacniacz za 3 koła. I najlepiej jeszcze do tego... Jak to się nazywa? Niesymetryczne kable? W każdym razie musisz dołożyć przynajmniej 6 koła, żeby usłyszeć różnicę, więc bez przesady. Nazywam się Harrier Dubois, a moje miejsce na ziemi to porucznik podwójny Gefreiter.
That's just the thing, Holmes. None of that matters.
Co tu robisz?
This is a special place. There's a perforation in the world up there. A way out into nothingness. This church was built around it for purposes of veneration. I circled it, nurtured by the silence bestowed by the mother. One of these days, I'd be pure enough to go drink from it directly.
Co to za matka ciszy, o której ciągle gadasz?
Oh, that's no simple question, Ese. She is one who can be painted or sculpted. She is a cavity in the dark beyond sense. She saved me, but I couldn't describe her to you. No one can, Holmes, and no one ever will.
Co się stanie, kiedy już napijesz się z tej perforacji?
I will be incinerated, but not destroyed. Finally, I won with the state of the world before reality began.
Na pewno, aby nie zamieniłeś po prostu jednego narkotyku na inny?
It's not like that at all, man. It's just faith and joyful service.
Wiara to rodzaj narkotyku.
I heard that before, Way, and I know I can't convince you on the spot. But think, when's the last time you woke up from silent communion with a hangover, regretting what you did last night?
There are drugs darker than alcohol circling your system.
Myślę, że moim ulubionym narkotykiem mogła być miłość i cały czas mam po niej zjazd.
She took you for a good spin, huh? Don't worry, bro. That love is but a drop compared to the ocean of the mother's love. The mother will eat all of you and never spit you out.
Może i masz w sumie rację.
I know it will take time. Don't sweat it. I know it will take time. Don't sweat it.
Wciąż nie rozumiem, co robisz w tym kościele.
I'm a seraph, Holmes. I sing the mother's glory.
Możesz dla mnie zaśpiewać? Zaśpiewaj mi coś.
I ain't from no Marietta, if that's what you're thinking. And the song I sing is silent as the mother.
He lost his cool there for a moment. Seems you hit some nerve.
Jak w ogóle znalazłeś to miejsce, ten kościół?
Hard to say. I think I did some construction work here, back when I still had material worries. Up there, I realized what the true purpose of the church was. Been spending a lot of time here ever since. The past is nothing to me now, Way. It didn't belong to me.
No dobrze, mam inne pytania.
The sinewy figure lingers on the wooden beams, blending into the shadows.
Jesteś tu już od dawna, wiesz, czemu kościół został opuszczony?
Police raid a while back.
Did you witness it?
Not really, or at least I don't remember much of it anymore. The mother's love has done its job. That's what's so great about the mother. It lets you forget about everything.
Kilku rejwersów chce zmienić to miejsce w klub nocny.
The ones in the tent outside, right? I see them. Guessing they're the ones who call me a crab. Probably scared of me.
Czekaj, a mają jakiś powód, żeby się bać?
Nah, man. They look pretty funny. And I don't harm no one anymore.
Though he used to, a long time ago.
I co o tym sądzisz, o tym nocnym klubie, znaczy się?
Why not? They wouldn't bother me none. I'm usually way up there, imbibing. Ain't no music on earth that can reach where I go. Might even be nice to have some company.
He said that in spite of himself. He's more attached to the human than he'd like to think.
Wiesz, gdzie jest drugie straszydło?
Other spooker? Oh, esa viejita es muy estudiosa. Don't know, Holmes.
Zaraz, czyli w kościele mieszka inna osoba?
No. I just call her viejita because of her clothes. She's actually quite young. Or maybe not that young. Age is just one of the many masks we wear.
Wait, what if it's Ruby?
Did it ever seem to you like she was hiding here from something?
You mean like a fugitive? No, man. Quite the opposite. I don't think she cared much about authority or anything else for that matter. Maybe only about her machines.
I see. And where is she now?
I told you, Holmes. I don't know.
Jak możesz tego nie wiedzieć, skoro oboje tu mieszkacie?
Don't really follow her comings and goings. Just see her typing on her computer now and then. We got different interests.
I nie masz mi nic więcej do opowiedzenia, jak ona wygląda, co robi, kim jest?
I'm afraid not, Essay. You just have to wait until she comes back, or
search through her radio computer.
Rozumiem, dziękuję. Najpierw się rozejrzyjmy. Z szacunkiem, powoli. Szalik meskińskiego gangstera. Klimatyczny ten kościółek. Powiem ci tak nieziemski. Nie interesuje mnie to wcale. Wiem, że się dobrze ogląda, dobrze się też czytało. Czerwon półbuty. Mamy cały strój meskińskiego gangstera zaraz. Po prostu wiem, jak to się skończy i nie będę ci spoilował, ale osobiście byłem trochę zawiedziony z zakończeniem. Czy ja chcę najpierw sprawdzić komputer, czy wyrwę w ścianie?
In white, silver, and apricot faience, the young mother of humanism stands above you.
Zajebisty ten
A
witraż.
crack runs across her body. She is impossibly tall, oval-faced and sad. A dark and radiant majesty. Cradled in her arms are a pair of glowing lungs, clearly visible from underneath her flowing dress. You should kneel.
Klęknij.
Your knees touch the floor. The floorboards are hard and cold. There you kneel among the snowdrifts, diffuse light falling on your hands from beyond the glass.
Zamknij najpierw oczy.
The world is silent, but for the creaks and cracks of the massive wooden structure behind you, it covers you from the wind outside. In the darkness, you sense her eyes on you, inspecting you with their multicolored glass, as if you're a bug under a microscope.
Otwórz oczy.
The woman looks down at you kneeling. She towers among her followers, architects, laymen, courtiers. There is a sad smile on her lips and a glint in her green-blue eye of what? Compassion? Remorse?
To współczucie.
As that soft word passes through your mind, the lieutenant draws an X-shaped cross from shoulder to shoulder.
Zrób to samo wstając.
Your fingertips touch your chest 4 times. Then you rise from your knees into the apricot-colored light of the window. Above you, the woman still smiles her distant smile, sundered by the crack in the glass.
Kto to jest kim?
It's Dolores Day. The old woman was right. This is the Dolorian Church of Humanity in Martinez, or the Small Pinewood Church in some records.
Wiedziałeś o istnieniu tego miejsca?
It's a minor landmark, not easy to find. Most maps misplace it. It was built not long after Revachol's founding, 300 or so years ago, by first-generation settlers.
Co jeszcze o nim wiesz?
There used to be 7 stave churches on the coast. Les Setsa, they call them. The 7 Sisters. Only one remains. The rest were burnt in the revolution or used for building materials. We should be respectful here, although the building appears to be deserted. I do not believe we'll find the instigator here. Something else, perhaps?
A pang of guilt. The lieutenant is leaving something out.
Wiesz, czemu został porzucony?
I have a theory, yes. There was a police raid a while back. I heard the place was shot to pieces. The old woman in the village was being tactful with us when she didn't mention it. She has more respect for the RCM than many around here.
Kto przeprowadził ten nalot?
Well, your station was involved, I hear. Although I can't be sure.
Nie jesteś pewien?
3 precincts were involved in the raid, and people say Precinct 41 was one of them.
Rozejrzyj się. Ja mogłem tu chyba kiedyś być.
I'm sorry, I'm not saying you were. It was a clandestine operation. I don't know anything about it, why it was conducted or who participated. I try not to pry into extra-district matters.
Jeśli tu byłem, to powinienem się dowiedzieć, co robiłem.
Good luck. You will not get information on a confidential operation from your station secretary just by calling. If you really don't remember, it might be better to keep this one forgotten. It happened a while ago. It's unimportant to our business in Martinez now.
Dobra. Na razie odejdźmy. Zboostujmy sobie matematykę wzrokową, jak tylko możemy. Solo leveling się bardzo fajnie czytało. To mi daje plus do matematyki wzrokowej. Ale szczerze mówiąc... Na pewno miałem coś jeszcze, to mi daje plus do matematyki wzrokowej. Jakoś nie widzę tego zanimowanego. Tak samo jak teraz ekranizują Lukizm. A Lukizm to akurat taka historia, która zmienia się... Nawet ciężko jest to opisać.
The mother of humanism stands above you, a precious and complex wax painting on a single pane of glass.
Dobra, jeszcze odwróćmy się, encyklopedię mogę sprawdzić. To jest historia, która zmieni się z komedii w... Nie wiem jak to nazwać. Historię o walkach uczniów, w dramat, w kryminał, potem znowu walki. Encyklopedia tu mam +2. Ciężko jest to zrobić. Szczerze mówiąc.
The mother of humanism stands
Dobra,
above you, a
58%.
precious and complex. Despite the damage
Wyszło.
you've done to yourself,
Dzięki Bogu.
the title appears lodged in your hippocampus. This is her innocence, Dolores Day. The innocence of humanism, internationalism, and the welfare state. Perhaps the most famous human being ever to have lived. No amount of Commodore Red can wipe her sad smile from your brain thing. It has survived the deluge and haunts you still, and will haunt you forever, as it haunts all men.
Zaraz, czym dokładnie jest niewinność? Słyszałem o tym systemie.
The highest category of historic individual, an embodiment of the world spirit.
Władcą?
More, an innocence is elected to office by the founding party, a precedent that has taken place a mere 6 times in the entirety of history. The legal system of the Real Belt is built to accommodate an authentic rule should it coincide with our time. An innocence is infallible. The decisions made by one are not decisions. They are inevitabilities. What would have happened anyway? Only accelerated, packed into decades instead of centuries. An innocence is a continuous, compressed event, a sacred human being. It is an honor and a glory to live when one is in office.
A czy teraz jakaś urzęduje?
No, we are alone.
Dobrze, kiedy ona władała?
300 years ago, in the wake of the discovery of this Isola, the Insulindian, by explorers from the continent of Muindi. She is, among other things, the innocence of inter-isolary travel and the connected world.
Wieszny Nieziemski skrócili pewnie walki, bo zanimowanie sceny walki jest najtrudniejsze. I najdroższe. Najwięcej roboczo godzin. Boże, ale jestem cynikiem. W ogóle nie patrzę na artyzm. Nie próbuję nawet sobie tłumaczyć, że nie, no mieli taką wizję artystyczną. Tylko wszędzie widzę już roboczo godziny i to, że po prostu studio cięło koszty, bo wydali tyle na licencję, że musieli się odbić. Co jeszcze o niej wiem?
Many things you know know she was a woman of the court, the wife of an influential Marchese, and eventually the principal advisor to Irene la Navigateur, Queen of Serene, modern-day Sir La Clé. Also, that she was gorgeous beyond beauty, draped in ancient sadness. Are you sure you want to remember this bit of historic trivia? Standing under a long, slender form like this, dwarfed?
Skąd to wszystko do mnie płynie?
The past. It's a silo of sadness, fermenting. You should keep away.
Dobra, i co jeszcze było mądre?
Terribly, women of the court were expected to play both contract bridge and chess sufficiently well to prove an interesting challenge to a man. A simple grasp in matters of philosophy, theology, and science was encouraged. She was, by all means, a kept woman. She made the most of her position in the antediluvian court, a court visited by the most prominent thinkers and artists of the day. In secret, she was becoming the era's preeminent philosopher of the state, a scalpel, a piercing gaze. She was an almost preternaturally magnetic and intelligent individual. To her contemporaries, she appeared out of time, a messenger from the future of the species. We all fell in love with her, head over heels. Even before she was declared an innocence, her influence was tremendous.
Jak to?
It was on her advice that Irene la Navigateur sponsored a number of voyages into the Pale. A costly, often tragic endeavor, ultimately vindicated by the discovery of the new world, the piece of reality you're standing on. She was crowned 2 years after the first expedition returned, setting in motion what is widely considered the greatest era in history. The DeLorean era.
Ziemski, myślę, że nie są aż tak głupi. Wiedzą, że mają kluczowe momenty, gdzie muszą to zrobić dobrze. O rany.
Wow, indeed. When her innocence was declared, and the queen she had advised for years fell on her knees before her, she was so overcome with emotion that her lungs started glowing in her chest. Bystanders reported golden filaments lighting the already sunlit chamber around her, clearly visible beneath her dress.
Czy było w niej coś przerażającego?
Terrifying is a term too emotionally charged for your semantic memory, or what remains of it. But terrifying, it's a simple word. She was bad for humanity, and you shouldn't have started thinking about her.
Nie, było w niej coś złego, chcę wiedzieć.
You already do. Although she is often considered to be the greatest human being to ever live, there was something ominous about Dolores Day, constantly surrounded by her terriers. She was the most socially secluded and least self-aware of all the innocences. Some modern thinkers would consider her a war criminal for the campaigns she waged against the Mesk state. And then there were the resettlement programs.
Co się stało?
The Mesk state tried to detach itself from Innocentic rule. Parts of the world were experiencing whiplash from accelerating into secularism. Her mandatory education programs and mass resettlement of upstream Marguerite were problematic as well. Dissenters were suppressed by a military force she called the Army of Humanity.
Czyli święte było tyranem. Pomyśl o tym nieziemski tak. Zawsze można zrobić kopiuj i wklej. Żyjemy w czasach, gdzie nie wszystko musi być rysowane ręcznie. Jeżeli narysowało się jeden model, który ma stać w tle, możesz po prostu go skopiować set razy, zacieniować i jakoś to przejdzie.
She adored chess, yes, but also military war games. Dolores Day often holds a tiny tin soldier between her index finger and thumb in icons such as this. She was also blonde, the blondest woman you have ever seen, with green eyes the color of the Pacentic, mare interregnum. Little is known of her Marchese husband. It's as if he vanished from history after completing his role, which was to introduce Dolores Day to court. In conclusion, yes, there is something lonely, paranoid, and even terrifying that people seldom mention, but feel when they think of her.
Lieutenant Yefreiter, you've stood there for over 5 minutes. What are you thinking of, if I may ask?
Ona nie jest człowiekiem.
Okay. This church, the coast in general, we shouldn't linger here. This isn't a good place to get lost in. We should conclude our business and move on.
Wymagającym. 17%. Otwórz popękaną szybę.
The shards glimmer in the dark. You see little pearls of light on the edges of the crack that splits the female figure. Something was written there. Remains of broken letters line the emulsion. What it said, you do not know.
Idziemy matematykę wzrokową. Awansujmy ją. Jeszcze też... A właśnie to jest najgorsze tutaj. Brak sortowania jakiegoś, konceptualizacja, elektrochemia. Nie no, może nieziemski nie będzie tak źle, to jest minus matematyka wzrokowa, ok. Tak. +1 do matematyki. Chyba nic więcej nie mam z bonusami. 42%.
A precious and complex nothing.
Kurwa.
Just the edge of the crack sparkles in the dark. There may have been a writing here, but you cannot make out.
Dobra, zablokowany amen. Już nie mogę rozwinąć matematyki wzrokowej. Aj, to jest mój próg i nigdy się nie dowiem. Nigdy się nie dowiem. To nic. Teraz będę musiał sprawdzić komputer Ruby i w sumie tyle. Na dzisiaj jednak i tak skończymy. Myślałem, że dalej pchnę to śledztwo, ale dzisiaj znowu nie udało się wcześniej zacząć. A myślę, że skończymy to w poniedziałek. Znaczy, skończymy. Ha, ha, ha. Ho, ho, ho. Dowiemy się może przynajmniej części rzeczy. Pomożemy Raversom otworzyć klub nocny. Pogadamy z... Myślę, że zarobimy przynajmniej 4 questy. O, w ten sposób. Jak podoba mi się Disco Elysium, nieziemski. Zajebista gra. Naprawdę. Wiem, że nie jest to najlepsza gra na streama. Ale ogólnie jest świetna. Jest klimatyczna, ma ciekawe rozwiązania. Bardzo fajny styl artystyczny. Widać, że mieli ciekawy pomysł i wiedzieli, jak go zrealizować. Lektor buduje klimat. Z tego co wiemy, chyba na premierę nie było lektora. Nie było w ogóle żadnego czytanego tekstu. Znaczy czytanego tekstu. Nie było lektorów po prostu. Po prostu jest dziwne, ale ja lubię dziwne gry. Lubię, kiedy coś ma dziwny klimat. Szczerze, przez to na przykład gadanie o kryptydach bardzo chętnie zagrałbym w grę, która opiera się właśnie na jakichś poszukiwaniach kryptydów, śledztwach. Lubię takie tematy. Niestety jest to bardzo nielubiany przez kogokolwiek temat, jeżeli chodzi o tworzenie gier. Opaska? Ja tu opaskę mam nieziemski założony. No kurwa, rozłączyłem sobie słuchawkę, zajebiście. Dobra, nie mam głosu na jedną słuchawkę. Ja ją mam założoną tylko i wyłącznie po to, żeby nie ocierał mi się łeb o gumę. Znaczy o ten plastik. Dobra, w każdym razie dzisiaj to tyle. No, na weekend jest przerwa. Widzimy się chyba w poniedziałek, chyba że mi coś wypadnie. Także trzymajcie się i do zobaczenia. Jak coś piszcie na Discordzie. Hej!